Hey, what's up, nerds? It's Paul here at Radio Free Hammer Hall. Tonight, we are just going to do a little hobby hangout. I just hit 2,500 subscribers the other day, so I thought I would do a little hangout and hobby. I've got some things to work on, got a few jams to listen to, and yeah. I can just sort of babble at the screen and have a good time. So let's pump up the jams.
Good evening. Do not attempt to adjust your radio.
That's right. We're doing some P-Funk tonight. I don't care if I get demonetized. If I get demonetized, that means that the money from ad revenue that I would get instead goes to George Clinton's bail fund from all the times he gets arrested for weed, which I don't mind. So, here we go. Speaking of things that come in bags, I got a big old bag of bits over here and two little bags of bits over here that need to get sorted out. So that is going to be my main task right now, is getting all of these bits sorted out. So the big project I'm working on is converting up all of my Slaves to Darkness to all be Nurgle Slaves to Darkness, which is it's a big undertaking. I want every single model in the army to be converted. So that means there's been a bajillion head swaps, weapon swaps, shield swaps, extra bits here and there, icons, banners, musician bits, everything. So I keep trying to harvest bits from as many places as I can get, because despite having 50 Blight Kings, that did not produce enough extra bits for me to satisfy my need for this Slaves to Darkness army, because I'm already at 40 Chaos Warriors. I'm working on 20 Marauders right now. I've got 15 Chaos Knights. It's a big project, and there's stuff that I haven't even touched yet. There's more stuff out there. So if you got questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to drop it off in the chat. That way is where it pops up for me. Although intuitively it should be that way, but the screen is like mirrored, so it's actually over here. And somebody let me know if the music is too loud and you can't hear me. And I will turn that down if necessary, but I need to jam this in P-Funk tonight. So, I got all these bits to sort. I got my big-ass Nurgle Bits box that is going to get filled up even further than it already is with all of this Nurgly goodness. So I'm just going to start... Oh, shit. Where do I put all of this? Desk space is at a premium for me right now. I have... I'm on my laptop, so I can't really easily turn it and show you, but I've got like 2 paint racks and a whole bunch of shit all over my desk, and there's not a lot of room to just bases. Not a lot of room. So who do we have in the chat? There's somebody here. You are not making yourself known. You should drop a comment in there. You know, I'm going to start with these little bags. I'm going to get primed up, get a little tantalizing sample of what may be to come. And what do we got? See, there's a little Plague Bearer banner. See, I've become quite familiar with what all of the individual bits actually are and where they come from doing this way too much. I got 2 Blight King front body bits. But then I got 4 beautiful shields. Those are some of the best bits to have. This is the Nurgle shields from the Blight King kit. Now I got another little packet here. This one came courtesy of Oscar Lars, who I did a little bits exchange with. And he sent me over Blight King banner bits and Blight King musician bit and some other random stuff. Tentacle, some bells. I don't know what half this shit is. mean, I guess I'll take a tentacle. I always like tentacles. Nurgle loves tentacles. Don't mind me as I rock out a little bit to these funky jams this evening. So I've invited some people to come join the stream. I haven't heard back from a lot of people yet. It is a very impromptu sort of thing that I did. I just shot out messages like 5 minutes before I went live. I was like, hey, you want to join a stream? And literally like 3 people have even responded to me yet. And they've all been no or maybe later. So you're just going to be listening to me for a while babble on. So, all right. I'm going to put these over yonder, because those are going to be an immediate need. These are sort of a secondary need. And the rest of this stuff we're going to figure out something to do with. But now onto the big-ass bag of bits. And, let me give proper credit here. This comes from Ryan Taylor on Twitter, who just sent me this giant bag of bits for free. Which was super cool of him. I am in his debt. I don't know how many Blight King boxes this is bits from, but it's a shitload. So we're going to go through these bits and see what we're going to do. Oh, wow. Well, I can see from what shields are in here, these round shields. There's only one of these in every box, and there's 5 of them here. So there's at least 5 boxes worth of Blight King bits here, which is quite encouraging. So now I just got to sort through this, grab all my shields. So I requested banners, musician bits, shields, heads, and shoulder pads. So anything like that, that's all in here, and there's a ton, an absolute ton. So right now, just working my way through. Oh, there's musician bit that I needed. I thought there was another banner in here. Yep, another banner. Bump step go. Step down. The other request that I had was right hand weapons, and it really should have just been all like axe weapons. That was kind of a mistake in my part. Ooh, here's another musician bit. That is nice. Hope everybody is enjoying the musical selections this evening. Again, if it's too loud, let me know. Because I have no way of telling. I'm using StreamYard, which doesn't give me like audio levels, and it's just getting played through my system behind me. So, yeah, I don't know. And I'm like half deaf, so I really don't know what other people can hear or not. We want the funk. Give up the funk. How we need the funk. Gotta have the funk. Now I am a big fan. Ooh, another banner bit. I'm a big fan of funky music. George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic, all of his various bands that he has worked with, as well as a variety of other funk from that era. But P-Funk always has a special place in my heart. That's like the place where I like learned about funk, and it always just like sets a good mood, right? It's just chill, fun music. Like, I listen to a lot of metal, I listen to a lot of electronic music, a lot of stuff with a lot of bass and a lot of energy, and sometimes I just want to sit back and chill and listen to some George Clinton. And that's what we're doing tonight while I sort through these bits. which is quite a task. There's a lot here. So nobody's dropped anything in the comment stream yet. I would love to have a chat with you guys. So feel free. It's right over there. At least for me. Maybe it's down there for you. I don't know. I don't want to steer you around. It's around somewhere. So I think I have... Oh, nope, there's another one. Just about pulled all of the shields out of this bits mess. Yeah, I think that's all the shields. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 shields out of this one haul, along with 4 from another one, so that is 24 shields. Plus I had some others kicking around, so I'm thinking I might need to go back through my Marauders and rip their shields off and give them all Blade King shields instead of their derpy Marauder shields. But we will have to still decide on that. Not sure. Might just keep them for something else. Maybe I want 1 million more Chaos Knights. I really don't know. Or Varangard. I still need to buy some Varangard at some point, and that is going to need to be converted like everything else is. And those shields, they just don't work. So they wouldn't work thematically with the rest of the army. So we would have to do some work there. Oh, I don't even know how to attack the rest of this because this is like a ton of tiny bits now. I guess let's go for heads. Heads and weapons. One of the great things about the Blight King kit is that there are so many bits in it. It is just like this endless supply of extra stuff to convert your armies, do cool stuff with. This is a head I'm not even familiar with. I think this might be a 40k head. That's cool. Yeah, I think there's some 40k heads in here. So, the reason that I'm going so hard into Slaves to Darkness at the moment is I'm kind of forcing myself to build the army and paint the army. My local shop is doing a Path to Glory League starting on Wednesday, and I decided I'm going to play Slaves to Darkness to, like, force myself to finish all of that stuff. I've got 40 Chaos Warriors. I've got 20 Marauders that I'm working on right now. I've got 60 more hanging out that are built. 15 Chaos Knights, 10 of which are painted, but I'd like to take them to a higher level, and I'd also really like to green stuff cloaks on all of them. But I have not tackled that yet. That is going to be a big project, and I need to get some better sculpting tools to do that. But other than that, I mean, I converted up my Chaos War Shrine and my Chaos Chariot, which is going to be an Idolater Lord, because I really like Idolaters, and I'm not sure why. I just kind of glommed onto that one. It seems really cool, and I think with the Universal Spell Lore Universal Prayer Lore rather, that we got, it's going to be a good time. Let me grab a little sip of water here before my throat goes completely dry. Oh, man. So, I've got some work cut out for me as far as conversions and getting all of my act together with all of this stuff. I also still need to read the Path to Glory rules. I haven't finished reading that section of the book yet. Tried starting it tonight, and then my daughter kind of got in the way and wanted attention. So family, of course, comes first. So I put the book down, and I'm going to have to finish that later when the kids are not around. I would do it right now, but it would be really boring for me to sit here and read a book. Even if I was reading aloud to the chat. That would probably be really boring material. Thank you, Asinine Frankenstein, for the shout out. Every once in a while, you got to celebrate your milestones and your victories. So I'm just chilling, hanging out, listening to some tunes, sorting through some bits for conversion projects. One of the cool things that I discovered working on this project is that I was trying to figure out what to do with Chaos Marauders because their sculpts are not that good. And I did a test model where I did a weapon swap and a head swap with Blight King bits. And one of the Blight King heads that doesn't have like a helmet or anything on, that's just like a deformed head. And man, that rusted out weapon and deformed head made this malformed sculpt suddenly make sense. It actually looks like they're like junior Blight Kings. They're oddly shaped and fat in weird areas and a little bit proportionally off. It's very nerdly. It just works. I have one right here. This is my test model. You can see that. Can't see it real well. This is what happens when I talk too much. This is why I like to have guests on, so that I'm not just sitting here and talking all by myself, because my voice will die. Little known fact that when I am recording videos, particularly the PowerPoint videos, or like slideshow videos, I will definitely pause in the middle and drink water and cough and get up and go to the bathroom. Especially when they're like one that's like hour long. I cannot just sit there and talk straight through. Some people can just have that gift of doing that, just like sit here and talk, and somehow their voice doesn't go bad in the process, but that just definitely ain't me. I need my water, my coffee, my beverage, something going on. So I wonder how long it's going to take this video to get flagged for my flagrant violation of copyright law, because I really don't care tonight. It's just here to chill. Dude. You know, the copyright stuff is funny because I think there are some artists that just genuinely don't care or don't police it at all, or labels anyway that are not policing it at all. So there's some things you just kind of get away with, and I feel like it's very possible whatever I'm listening to may not really have anybody actively watching out for it on YouTube. So I don't know, maybe an algorithm will pick it up. What the hell is this? Oh, this is definitely a 40K head, and it's super cool. Look at this little bit. Look at like tentacles and shit coming off his head. That's hella tight. That is what I'm talking about. I feel like I need to start buying some 40k Death Guard kits just to get bits from them, and to get the Sassy Nurgling. Like, I need to get the Sassy Nurgling. It is like my spirit animal. I need to get like the stuffed Sassy Nurgling and get like the actual model and build him a ridiculous diorama base with him on top of like a pile of like dead bodies, and really have him just like be my mascot, hanging out all the time. I don't even know where that tangent came from. Right, all of the Nurgle bits from Death Guard. A lot of the helmets wouldn't really work. Some of the shoulder pads, I think, would work. And definitely a lot of the weapons would be super cool. Like the scythes that have like teeth in them, like the gears and teeth. Those would look super cool on like some plus foils. Just cut the tubes and shit off them so that they're not too over the top in the sci-fi realm. Oh, so many glorious bits going through here. Yeah, this dude definitely sent me a bunch of 40k bits for sure. Because like even like the head socket is different. Like most of like the Blight King bits, there's like a little like post basically of the neck that comes up, and then there's like a face mask that goes on it. And these are all like they go down like into a hole that would be in the torso. Now we both know that's not how it should be. This is going to be a glorious project when it's done. Just, I guess, for reference, they're not based yet, but this is what the finished Chaos Warriors come out looking like with Nurgle bits on them. I think they look pretty cool. They definitely don't, like, read generic Chaos anymore. They definitely read Nurgle. And let me tell you a little story about the paint job on all of these. All that yellow kind of happened by accident. I was originally going to do, like... They were originally... What is it? Ogden camo with sepia wash over them, and that was like all it was. And it wasn't that exciting of a paint job. I wasn't really proud of it. So I started just experimenting with different colors and things like that, like edge highlighting. And one day I just was like, well, let's just try edge highlighting in yellow and see what happens. And that edge highlight turned more into a blend. And that blend kind of took over most of like the shoulder pad. And I'm like, oh, this actually looks pretty cool. So I started painting the entire army that in mostly yellow, that sort of wet blends into the Ogden camo with the sepia for shading. So, I'm getting some kind of thing here. I think I may not be connected well. I don't know. I'm just going to keep doing my thing. Hopefully it records and ends up in the final file. But for right now, I'm continuing to sort these bits out. What also makes really cool head bits are actually there's like these little heads from the Plague Bearer kit that like have like a ring on top of the head. They're like definitely dead heads. Their eyes and mouth are sewn shut. If you trim off the little loop on the top of them, they just look like really weird, grotesque heads if you paint them up right. So that's pretty cool. I like going with that. I definitely have a few of my Marauders with those heads on them, and they fit right in with the Nurgle stuff. Also grabbed a couple out of the Flagellant kit. A few of those work nicely as well. I had tried doing conversions with the Flagellant bodies and putting the arms and heads from the Marauder kit onto the Flagellant bodies, but the scale was a little bit off. So, like, it was like these skinny, gaunt bodies that looked like they had just like hit arm day at the gym really hard, and the scale was off. It just didn't work. So, I kind of had to scrap that project, and I didn't make the decision that it looked bad until I had done 40 of them. So now I had to go back through and rip 40 sets of arms and heads off of Flagellants and put them back onto the Marauder bodies, which hopefully I can make look not terrible. And I don't even know what to do with all this. I've just been collecting bits lately for Nurgle stuff, and I'm just to a point where I have so much. Like, there's certain bits that I like needed, but now I have like a whole unit's worth of extra shields that I don't know what to do with. So they may end up on my Marauders, but some of the shields are too big for Marauders, so I might go back and swap some out of my Chaos Warriors and my Chaos Knights, take some of the small shields off of those and put them on the Marauders, and then put the big shields on the Warriors and Knights. But we shall see. Gonna see how this goes. I started painting up the Marauders already with the shields, and I don't know, those shields feel a little bit plain, but they do take the yellow color nicely, so it really makes them kind of pop. And there's not a lot of other yellow on the model, it's just really like the shoulder pad. And the Nurgle shields don't all have like a ton of yellow, and they don't make them like really pop that much. There's not much contrast going on. There's really, it's just ends up being like a big yellow blank slate, which I really need to go back through and try harder on to make it look better, but that's what I got for now.
Well, all right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
The universe.
That's my jam right there.
We have returned to claim the tyranny. Partying on the mothership. I am the mothership connection. Get down in 3D. Light year through. All right. Yeah.
Oh.
Nobody need more. Get down. Get it, fellas.
What the hell is this bit? You ever see a bit and you're just like, I don't know what the fuck this is, so I guess it's just going in the trash can? Like, I don't know. Some things I just can't even identify.
Put a glide in your stride and a dip in your hip and come on to the mothership. Doing the stuff. Hustle on over here.
Yeah, and it knows it's just me and the boys. Hit me. Hit me bad.
Ain't nothing but a party, y'all. Even your memory ain't never got
almost done sorting these bits. There's just so many of them. Let's see. Shoulder pad. What are you? Here's a random piece of sprue. I don't know why you're there. The rest of this is heads. Glorious. So, with that, I can bust my bits box back out. Can put all these guys away. Get in the bag.
You have overcome, for I am here.
I don't even know how many heads this is, but it's a lot of mortal heads to add to the collection. Oh, and a nice replenishing of my shoulder pad bits, which... that's a question I also have, is if I'm going to go back through all of these Marauders and rip all their shoulder pads off and use Nurgle shoulder pads. Actually, I'm going to keep one of those out to do a size comparison here. See if that's a viable idea, or if I'm just being crazy. Getting a little too wild with my conversion ideas. Just me and the boys getting it. Alright. Oh man. You know what? These shoulder pads are almost the exact same size. Now, it's gonna look a lot cooler if I swap out the shields and swap out all the shoulder pads. That is, like, without question, that is gonna look cooler. It's gonna be a lot of work, and I definitely need to piece out my bits first to figure out if I'm gonna be able to pull that off. So anybody that is currently viewing, feel free to just drop questions or comments or say hi, whatever, over in the chat over there. For me, it's over there. I don't know, there's only so much talking to the camera without other people that I can do before I start getting monotonous. Oh, and before I start losing my voice. God dang. Oh. Got to stay hydrated. That is a key to life in general, is to stay hydrated. Especially while you are streaming, so you don't lose your voice. So, now that I got these bits, I can finish off this conversion here. Little Chaos Warrior Banner Bearer. He's getting like King Banner on him. Get a little glue out. All right. Oh shit. I almost had it. I don't remember how I did this last time. Nurgle in AOS 3. How do I like Nurgle in AOS 3? It's been awesome. It's really all I've been playing. I like that Puscoil Blightlords are kind of good now. And Glotkin is good now. So that's been a lot of fun. How the fuck do I get this to attach? Alright. We're gonna get creative with this. Little conversion situation here. Do a little scrape the paint off. Let's get back down to the bare plastic. And then we're going to plastic glue this bad boy. Because plastic glue is where it's at. In case you're wondering, I don't understand why people use so much super glue. Because plastic glue just, like, it welds. It melts both sides. It's a solvent. So, you don't have to worry nearly as much about it sticking to your fingers either. Yeah, Nurgle in AOS 3, I've been having a lot of fun. I've been playing like all kinds of different lists. Been playing demons, been playing mortals, tried out a little bit of Slaves to Darkness mixed in. I think definitely there is legs on a lot of different builds. I think 3.0 in general is like really up in the air right now. Like the metagame has not settled down, so I think virtually anything can do well. Like if you are like carefully constructing a list, I'm not going to say anything can do well, but if you're making a thoughtful list and you're a good player, you should be able to do well. I think that's the basic moral of the story right now. And Nurgle's just been fun as hell. The other day I took a block of Plague Bearers and buffed them up with Blades of Putrefaction, Great Unclean One's command ability, Sloppity Bile Piper, and Spoilpox Scrivener. Gave them all-out attack and went into Catacross and did 17 mortal wounds to him. Took him down. That was really fun. Hold on, I got some messages I need to answer. Now I gotta figure out what to do with the rest of these bits. Because step number 1 is gluing the two halves of the musician bell together. And then I have to try and fit it onto a Chaos Warrior and see what I can do with that. I was able to do it with Chaos Knights. And it came out pretty well. So I think I might need to do maybe a little bit of green stuff work. Oh, thank you, Asinine Frankenstein, for the kind words there. I try and be helpful. I mainly just like do stuff for myself, like try and figure things out, and then I just share what I figure out, you know. People do this stuff for all kinds of different reasons. I'm really very much just like doing it for my own gratification. Like I'm just sharing what I'd be doing anyway. Oh, we can make this work. Okay. Gonna have to do a little bit of trimming to this bell situation, or not to the bell, to the Chaos Warrior to get the piece in there right. But once we do, it should fit nicely in there and actually look like it belongs there. Just did the quick dry fit to see how it would look. And it looks good. Oh, why do I have these here? I have this massive collection of torsos from Blight Kings and Blight Lords, and I don't know what to do with them. I really don't. I just kind of keep accumulating them. There's like 2 different front torso bits, at least, to every Blight King model and every Puscoil Blight Lord model. And I've got 10 Puscoils and 50 Blight Kings, so I've got a lot of spare torsos. And not a lot to do with them. It's not like you can easily buy the rest of the body and not the torsos. So, I don't know. I might throw them up like on eBay or something and see if somebody's trying to do a conversion project. I've definitely heard people using them before to convert more Blight Kings. So that's certainly an option out there for somebody. That's not the project I'm about to undertake, though.
Hey, baby, what's your phone number? I know it sounds fast, but I ain't got all night. Come on, baby, what's your phone number? No, I got to be cool in this cat you're sitting with.
Alright, as for Slaves to Darkness, what units do you think are good additions to a demon list? I'm still building up to a 2,000 point list. That's a good question. So, I think the big thing that demons are really lacking is good punching power. Like, it's hard to get Plague Bearers buffed up enough that they can really do explosive damage. You have to devote a lot of resources into doing that. So, if you pull the more hammery units out of Slaves to Darkness to complement the demons, that could be a nice blend. So I'm thinking like Chaos Knights, Varangard, and Marauders are probably your best choices there. The downside is if you're running a heavy demon list, that's not going to synergize with anything else you really have going on. So it's kind of like you'd have to have like 2 different sets of power pairs. And if you're running Munificent Wanderers, like the Slaves to Darkness stuff's not going to benefit from anything's Munificent Wanderers at all. So it's kind of it feels a little bit like a waste. I would say, I mean, my universal answer lately has been just run Puscoil Blight Lords instead. They're demons, so they absorb all those demon buffs. And they're also Rotbringers, so they absorb Rotbringer buffs. So there's definitely some good options there. Oh, I got more messages coming in. Looks like everybody is busy this evening, so it's just going to be me babbling on, I think. So I feel pretty good about this bits haul. This definitely puts me in a nice position if we finish all these conversion projects. Actually, I think this gives me an extra banner, which is definitely good. Yeah. Still have more bits to put away. I definitely recommend, by the way, getting a good bits storage system. These boxes that I have here, I got from Michael's, just a craft store. And I think these are supposed to be for like sorting beads, and other such tiny crafty stuff. And all of the little compartments in it are movable. So I just kind of set them up, glued them in, and so that bits wouldn't shift around. And then it ended up being perfect for bit collection. Finally somebody to join the chat. Let me just grab that link and send it over. All right. We may actually be getting a guest on in a moment. Gives me a chance to rest my voice a little bit. Oh, what the fuck was I just doing on my phone? I don't really know. I was going to check and see what this song was I was listening to, because this is unfamiliar. It's because it's not P-Funk. I've moved on to other similar stuff, which I don't mind at all. I always love listening to new music. Even if the music's 40 years old. So fun fact about me, back when I was like around college age, I was a DJ and played at like raves and nightclubs and all that kind of stuff. And that gave me a really big appreciation for like hearing new music all the time and just learning about music. So, I don't know. Some people like to listen to the same songs over and over again, and I would rather just hit like a random station and listen to whatever. Andrew is leaving me hanging here. Where is this boy at? Let's get a message. Oh, it's my wife sending me messages so she doesn't come downstairs and bother me. So what do I work on now? I'm staring at these 20 Marauders like I could rip all their shoulder pads off and do that project. I don't know how badly I want to do that, though. You know what? I'm here. I have time. Fuck it. I am going to sort bits again. Let's see how many shoulder pads I can come up with. What up? You're muted.
Is my audio working?
Yeah, you're good. Is my music too loud?
Cool. No, not to me.
You're sweet. Just jamming out to some funk. Got some good vibes going.
Nice. Yeah, I literally just put everything. I literally just like turned off the lights, went to bed, looked at my phone. I was like, "Oh, someone invited me to something." Cool. I guess I will actually attach the whip to Celeste.
Ooh.
If you're wondering what this glare is, it's because my phone's cracked. So don't worry about it.
I have to turn the music down because I can't hear you. But it's all
funk. Never too much funk.
Yeah. I mean, is George Clinton not one of the greatest humans that it's ever lived?
Mm-hmm. Can I flip my camera around? Oh, I turned my camera off.
So what are you doing building dirty Slaneshi shit? You should be building more Nurgle and more Skaven.
That's what I was building yesterday.
So why is Slanesh even on your desk? That's not right.
Hold on. How can I... now I can see what I'm fucking doing. Because I told myself I'm going to be building everything I have before I start painting stuff. Because like my hobby desk always has like either building or painting. And so I'm just trying to finish everything building so that I can start painting. But yeah, I own lots of demons because I thought I was going to play Legion of the First Prince.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I still might do that, but not sure when.
Yeah, I'm still like I haven't looked into yet how the Legion of the First Prince armies actually work. All I know is they seem to like really like plague bearers.
Well, it was either pinks or plague bearers, but now it's plague bearers. So when I was at Summer Slaughter, I got to see 2 Legion Prince lists like in action, and also I got to like talk shop with the players. And it is, I thought Sloppity and Great Unclean One caused people to hate me. I did not realize what a Kairos, Bellicor, and Demon Prince can do together. So, it's like I was like, they're just telling me what it does. I was like, oh yeah, this is like exactly what I would like to do. This is why I don't have friends.
I assume it's a Corn Demon Prince.
Yep.
If you're doing mean, nasty things.
Yep. Basically, you're just stopping everyone from getting their secondaries. This is essentially how the list works. I was confused how it went like 4 and 2 or 4 and 1, 3 and 2. Like I had no idea how the fuck it scores, but it's more of denying scoring is how it plays out with 3.0.
That is a really unfriendly list. I don't like that.
Yeah, because after you pay for those 3 characters, it's just like flex your troops and decide what you want to bring. Because you have the that summoning mechanic with Legions of the First Prince.
Yeah.
Then the bodyguard. Now with the facts, I'm not exactly sure how viable it is. I mean, it'd still be fucking stupid and fun to play, but
yeah.
I mean, fun for the player, but not for the opponent.
Yeah, fun for you, not for your opponent. So I made a fun discovery that Blight King shoulder pads are roughly the same size as Chaos Marauder shoulder pads. So I am now on a new quest
They
to
have shoulder pads.
many shoulder pads as I can to see if I can do up a whole unit of 20 Marauders with Blight King shoulder pads.
Oh, well, you have a bunch in the mail coming to you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I meant to take a picture of like exactly what I sent out, but it's the 2 boxes of Blight Kings minus the Blight Kings. Just everything else that's on sprue.
Nice.
And then a bunch of rando STD stuff.
That's always good too.
Because I downsized my STDs the other day, actually.
That's good. Get some penicillin.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that and $200-ish at the store. So that was always nice.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of these Blight King shoulder pads are really annoying because they're actually in pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Not a fan of that.
Nope, they are not friendly.
Yeah, and they also like they're not obvious how they match up.
Yeah, and like each Blight King, like it, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like not one. The one shoulder pad will only fit flush and on one shoulder, on one guy. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, if you're green stuffing and chiseling and using the glue that melts the plastic, it's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, is that all the parts? That's a part. I imagine that goes to that. Those are bloodletters, blood crushers, bloodletters. Yeah, I should have 5 bloodletters on sprue still. And those are the blood crushers. There you go. Cool.
Are blood crushers any good?
Don't know. But is this gonna be reversed in the camera? Oh no, it's actually good. Remember that little box that came out
Yeah.
like 2 years ago? Yeah, with when they released the new Fiends and the Karnak or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Karanak. Karanok? I don't know if it's a soft or a hard A.
The 3-headed hound.
Yes, Mr. Cerebus.
Karnak.
There's an A in the middle of it though. So it's Karanok.
Oh, damn it, I left it on the floor. I hate doing that. Oh.
Yeah, at my old apartment, it was like gray carpet. So once one bit drops, it's just lost forever.
Yep.
Yeah, somewhere in that apartment is a what's Archaon's mount's name? Dragor or something like that?
Dorgar, I think.
Dorgar. Yeah, I always call them Draugrs because that's the Skyrim thing. But yeah, that guy, his foot is hiding somewhere at my old apartment. Or not his foot, the other part. The talon on the wing, like, snapped off. Same thing with Archaon's sword. So still gotta figure that out.
It's not like he needs a Slayer of Kings or anything. It's not a key identifying piece of the model.
Yeah, was it you or somebody else that was asking how to attach a thin blade back to a hilt?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, no. So I know the solution to it. It's just fucking annoying to do.
Yeah, I mean, the solution that I realized you basically have to do is just plastic glue and pray.
Yep, that's option 1. But option 2 is like I was saying, was you green stuff like essentially like a patch onto it, wait for it to completely dry, and then you just very carefully shave and file it down to. It'll never be perfectly blade-like, or else it'll just snap again. But
yeah. Well, what I did was on all of my Chaos Marauders, I took like Blight King axe heads. I don't know if you can see it real well here because it's primed white and everything's all washed out.
I see it.
So I took off their axe heads and replaced them with Nurgle axe heads for 20 of them. So far, they're holding strong, but I am nervous about the longevity of that little bit of plastic glue that's holding it together. That's like a few millimeters wide. I think the saving grace is that there's so little weight that's on it that like it's gonna have to get like knocked or dropped or something.
I was gonna say, do you transport in foam?
No.
Then you should be fine for a while.
I actually just bought a magnet case.
Nice.
So, yeah. All right. So I'm going in. I am removing all of these shoulder pads. Oh. And we are going to put Nurgle shoulder pads on all of these guys.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's going to be... Oh, thank God. I think I used super glue to put all of these things on. So they come off pretty clean.
Oh, yeah, super glue snaps right off.
Yeah, they're all just popping right off. Oh, so what are you working on at the moment?
We are building a Karanok.
Oh.
There's definitely there's a third A in the middle. I don't know if you're supposed to pronounce it or not. But I don't know.
I don't know. We should ask like Josh or Konstantinos. They will know.
Yeah, and as I'm building this pupper, I'm just reminded that I don't have my Underworld's pupper anymore.
What Underworld's pupper? I'm not familiar with that. I don't know like anything about Underworld.
Season 2, Magor's Fiends, was the actual first plastic Fleshhound release. And I sold off seasons like 1 and 2. Didn't do anything for seasons 3. And now here I am a year or two later, and now I own all of season 4 almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then they announced season 5 starting. I can't keep up with it, but no one likes to play it. I mean, it's not that no one likes to play it, but with COVID, no one's been able to play it with me. The GW store down here in Virginia Beach, they actually do a Friday evening Underworlds in store.
That's cool.
And they're starting it back up again, just in time for the new season. I was like, oh, how convenient. Okay, what the fuck is this? That's his tail.
So have you dabbled into Slaves to Darkness for your Nurgle yet at all?
Outside of list building, no. No, I actually was playing 40k. Is kind of where that distraction came from this time.
Wow.
Yep. Which is fun. Okay, where the hell does this
the wrong game to be playing?
It's a good game.
I'm sure it's a fine game. For losers.
So wait, so that's... Does he have 3 tails? No, he has 2 heads.
So are you coming up for Du Bois?
So I've gotten some messages about that. So first off, I'm still on the wait list for deploys. So that's like step number 1 of the 5-step plan, is to get off the wait list. And 2, with the
wait list is moving. Like, I know people that have gotten off it already.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be super deep wait list. And with the TO change, I couldn't understand if the scuttlebutt was more people are coming because it's that one guy that I don't know names all that well, but one guy who stepped away. There'll be more people coming now, or is it because people are dropping because he's now not doing it or something?
People are dropping because they're requiring COVID vaccination cards and
I think it was something related to. I couldn't tell. That's what I was trying to say softly. It's like I couldn't tell if it was COVID related or if it was people were just following that guy who left.
Oh no, it's not about following Gary. He's got perfectly legitimate reasons for backing away this year. It's not like there's any hard feelings between anybody. He's probably going to be back next year. He's just ducking out for this year. He's still like the guy that's the contact for the hotel and all that stuff. So
that's what the email was saying and all that. Or not the email, the Twitter bullshit. I don't understand Twitter at all.
Yeah, neither do I. I'm nominally on Twitter, but I don't really Twitter.
It's entertaining, at least to me, while I'm bored at work.
Yeah, if you want good entertainment, there is a Twitter account for the U.S. vaccine count.
Mm-hmm.
And they update every day what the percentage of fully vaccinated Americans is. And if you want to see a toxic comment section, it is insane what people post in response to that every day.
That's cute. That's not the entertainment I need in my life, though. Good vibes only.
Yeah. Yeah.
Twitter I only will suffer from toxic positivity. This is a little bit very adjacent, but before I continue the story, so where are we live? Are we on to the world internet?
Yeah, YouTube.
Okay, it's on YouTube. Cool. I just wanted to, before I start saying things, I wanted to know how public I am.
You're quite public.
Okay, well, because I don't mind this being on a public platform. Let me start with this adjacent topic. How much into Pokemon TCG are you?
Not at all.
Are you?
It a couple of times, like 20 years ago.
Okay. But are you aware of what's been happening over the past 12 months?
I know, like, Target pulled the boosters off the shelves because they were having, like, fights and crap like that over cards.
Okay, so there is a YouTube channel that I'm going to shout out. Frosted Caribou. She has a great, like, 30, 45-minute video explaining kind of what happened. And there's a lot of people that have gone into the explanation, but that video is, like, 1 million some views. It's really well edited, really well done. And so essentially it's Logan Paul bought into Pokemon.
Oh god.
And then exactly. And then that's what drove everyone to get more and more of it. Just to kind of follow that whole thing. And then there's actually people like treating it like stocks and like actually buying and selling, and then like there was some release with a Pikachu and a Charizard in the same release, and then of course that went like a fire sale, and that's what was causing the fights at Target, as well as people were throwing trackers on the trucks that were transporting the product so that they would know which stores to go to get it. Like insane people buying Pokemon cards.
Yeah, that's really ridiculous.
And then there's like a whole other slew of YouTube that surrounded Logan Paul, and then like the whole selling and buying Pokemon cards, and essentially you now get this like 4 or 5 people who are like super big into the Pokemon scene, and like they have this cult following like on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, which again I don't understand Twitter or Instagram. I barely understand Facebook. So trying to relate this back. Frosty Caribou tweeted in reference to one of those big name people, and he took offense to it. And she's like a small town. Well, she's not small YouTuber. I don't know how YouTube numbers. She's not like multi-million followers, but essentially this dude who has like 3+ million people, his viewers started to attack her on her social media and stuff, because like the whole thing was about like toxic positivity and how like she's just a very real person and to the point, which is why I fucking love her to death. And all the people who are like, we can only say nice things about Pokemon, started being really nasty to her.
Wow.
And that's the very long explanation on my deep cut reference on why I want toxic positivity in my life only. I want to ignore financial instabilities and children not getting cards.
Yeah, that's in general a bunch of bullshit that I don't want to deal with. Like, that's part of the reason that I got out of Magic. It was just like the fact that there's like podcasts devoted to like Magic finance.
Yeah, that it was like that side of YouTube got into Pokemon like 12 months ago during pandemic, but then also Logan Paul and some other people.
Yeah. Oh, we have Josh to be added to the stream.
He can tell us how to pronounce stuff.
What am I telling you how to pronounce?
There's 3 A's in Karana.
In what?
The 3-headed fleshhound character.
Oh, it's just
Do you pronounce
Karanak.
the third A? But there's an A in the middle.
Yeah, well, Karanak. Like Karen. Nak. Karanak.
Karana. I don't know.
Can I switch cameras? Back. Get my hobby stuff up.
What is up, sir?
Painting Spire I'm
Building.
messing around with Spire Tyrants, turning them into Marauders.
I am currently working on converting Marauders myself.
You're making Marauders?
Yeah.
I'm making rich person Marauders.
I'm making really
Spire Tyrants.
looking Nurgle Marauders. You're also echoing really bad.
How many people are in the chat? Oh, a lot of people.
Oh, there's a chat.
Yep.
Cool.
I'm steadily building Constantino's list. Here's my spicy guy I just made.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah, I saw pictures of that earlier.
Ooh, pretty.
I don't know if you can really see it that well, but it came out really good. And he's kind of like my test model for this army. But dude, I can't believe how good Corn is if you just play good.
Oh, man, roll better, be good.
Be good. But like yesterday, like I was just playing with the jankiest stuff, and I never once felt, even against like some of these tougher armies, unless it was like Lumineth, I never felt like it was never like too oppressive.
Mm. And where were you playing yesterday? Like an R2T?
Yeah, just a local game store.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I got
That
a
was-
AOS RTT next Sunday, the 19th. Which this will be my 5th score for Nurgle.
oh, like winning?
I mean, I don't know if I'm winning, but it's gonna be a score.
Oh, okay.
Josh, you're still echoing. Put headphones on.
I'm what?
Put headphones on. You're echoing.
Oh shit! 1 second. I have my
Yeah,
phone. That's the
fake
problem.
internet.
I'll unmute my mic.
It's all about fake internet points.
These Nurgle shoulder pads look surprisingly good on these Marauders.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them don't quite work. But I don't know. Marauders are derpy anyway, so I'm not too worried
Yep,
about it.
and you'll pull them off the table pretty quick. So
Yeah. They're here for a good time, not for a long time.
exactly, it's that whole glass cannon mentality. Which is, I'm guessing that's what you're using them for. You just gotta buff them up and throw them at something and kill it. They also known as giants.
Yep.
Yep. Did you catch the stat show that Rob did a few hours ago?
No. I never watch him live on Twitch, and I rarely watch his videos other than that.
Yeah, no, basically it's good that he's the only one that I know that's actually looking at the data. I know Garrett's starting to. But yeah, no, giants are like, I don't think the number was said, but yeah, it's a large percentage of the meta. So if you're going to a tournament, try to bring something to kill a giant or to stop a giant.
Yeah, that's the more
play better.
Like if you want to fight, you have to kill giants. But I don't know. I still have never brought down a Mega Gargant.
In one turn?
I have. I think that's part of the trick is like figuring out how much you need to commit against any one individual thing before it will die, and in a lot of these like matchups, like something against Archeon, for example, like people don't realize how much they have to commit, and then they don't commit enough, and their unit just dies, and then like the monster that they're facing just goes off on a rampage and wreaks havoc.
Mm-hmm. Because of the universal command ability. Doesn't matter if he is left on one wound. Pop that one CP, and guess what? He's fighting at full bracket.
Yeah, that's super useful.
Yep. So yeah, like I said, outside of Theory Hammer in this building, I've not used my slaves in my Nurgle yet.
Yeah, I am starting a Path to Glory League this week, and I'm going to be running Nurgle Slaves to Darkness.
Cute.
Yeah. And it's like, we have like, my local shop is mostly new players. So I also didn't want to bring like a super hard edge. Yeah. I didn't want to bring bullshit. So then play Idolaters in Slaves to Darkness. Just probably
Idolaters.
A lot of people think it's like the worst host.
It's not.
Oh yeah, totally not. +1 to chant curse is pretty good. Last time I checked.
Mm-hmm. Or even heal. Are you bringing anything big?
I mean, the Idolater Lord himself is like 7 or 8 wounds.
No, I'm talking like 12 plus monster. Like, are you bringing a like something on Manticore?
No, I do not own a Manticore, and I really should.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, like if we're bringing a fun Path to Glory, throw in. I was gonna say Slaughter Brute, but no, you're trying to do Nurgle. What monsters? Ooh, what monsters are in that book?
What do you call it? The Soul Grinder. Could pick up a Soul Grinder.
Soul Grinders are good. Well, okay, I don't want to say good, but they have merit.
They're hilarious. They're so incredibly swingy.
Ooh, let me flex on you boys. My special edition book.
A special edition book for an army you don't play.
Whoa.
That's a serious flex right there.
Don't say I don't play it. I play around with it. But no, number 44 out of 850. What monsters do they have access to? They have Kitty Cat. Bring the Kitty Cat.
I don't currently own him, but I could.
Go get a cat. That's what I'm saying. So you get that easy peasy heal on like a 2+ heal D3. Because isn't that the other generic prayer? It's either curse or heal.
Yeah. Curse, heal, and then bless and smite. I like how they all are just one-word names.
Yeah. Where you say you had the Ogroid? What was your A-Wound thing? What's the A-Wound thing you're talking about, then? The DP?
The Idolater Lord?
Idolater. Oh, that's the one where you turn the
you turn a charity into a hero.
That's what it was. Yeah. I forgot about that. That's cool.
Yeah. And he's a priest that moves 12. And you can throw the amulet on him and give him a 5-up ward save. And really hard to kill.
Like in the back of my mind, I thought there was like another monster. But yeah, the Mind Stealer Sphinx, Slaughter Brute, Mortalith, Vortex Beast, Soul Grinder is a great option. It'll be fun. Also, don't forget a Chaos Gargant is an option through Beast of Chaos.
That is true. Not that you would necessarily want to take that option, but you can.
Hey, not everything's trash in that book. Just 90% of it.
Yeah, it's really sad. They have such a high density of monsters, and so many of them are terrible.
Jordan and I, we were talking about what's the not the Cygor one, but the one with 4 arms with like a knife arm, the Gorgon.
Yeah.
Have you seen the point cost on them?
No.
It's like sub 150. And I was talking to Jordan about throwing one in a Nurgle list just because I can. Just to get that 3rd monster, because that's why I bring the Vermin Lords, just for that extra monster, just to get that turn 1 ferocious advance. I was like, what else is a cheap monster? I was like, Gorgons. Yeah, I think it's like 130 or something stupid. Because it has like a 5-up save and 12 wounds, but if he's alive, turn 1, just score me a ferocious advance. He's my buddy.
Yeah. Or you could just be normal and run 2 monsters and cast the spell to make something a 3rd monster.
You obviously don't have a techless player in your meta.
No, I do not. Nobody in my meta plays LRL.
Yep. You cannot rely on spells down here.
All right, I have successfully put shoulder pads on all of my Marauders. They all have Blight King shoulder pads now.
Ooh, pretty.
And I might do the shields next. So Josh, are you just like totally muted, not talking to us now? I'm gonna just be on camera.
Yeah, I am muted. I have you guys turned down super low. Is it still echoey?
Tiny bit. I think you're fine though.
I can turn you down more and I'll still be able to hear you.
I think you're good.
How's that?
Perfect.
I mean, it's so low. But it's on speaker and like you're right next to my ear because of the way I have this set up. I have like a bunch of lights overhead and like a clamp for my phone. It's pretty sweet. Ugh.
You and your fancy setups.
I was doing a lot of like when COVID hit, I was doing a lot of game streams. I was playing a lot of this game called Phantasy Star Online, which the sequel sucks, by the way.
Aww.
So basically, I spent 5,000 hours playing this game during COVID.
Wow.
Like, I spent a lot of time, dude. I was like one of the top people in the game. And then
Dude, that's sweet.
it's just they were like, we're gonna release the second game, like, and that was like 2 months ago, and it was so bad that I was like, I don't care that I spent 5,000 hours playing the first game. I think this game sucks, and I never went back.
No, it's all about.
Yeah,
It makes total sense. There's so many hours in the day.
No. Yeah. So now I bought a whole new slaves army, sort of like, it's corn, but it's still
Corn.
it's slaves. How is her chess piece go on?
I was telling Paul I sold the majority of my slaves because I was like, I know I'm not touching this project in like the next 12 months. So I kept Archaon. I kept the start collecting box of the new ones.
Yeah, because of the cool sculpts.
Yeah, I have it all built and primed. And I think I just have like 5 random warriors sorted board and 15 of the old Chaos Knight sculpts still on sprue.
I actually picked up the wow, this is cool. So this sprue kit comes with 2 female heads that you can choose between, but that's like pretty unique. Female chaos heads.
Oh yeah, no, they're
cool.
Those are pretty rare. I bet you these are actually worth money. Like, I bet you people buy them.
yeah. You can cast them and sell them online. Just like those what are the scryer heads? You get like 2 of them on the catapult sprue.
Yep.
Yeah, like I have like 10 of them in a drawer. No idea when I'm going to use them, but I have them.
Put them on eBay for lots of money.
I thought about it.
Sprues sell, man. Like little bits, like the Ideneth bits are worth money, like all the fish.
Dude, the did you see the cute baby screamers on the new Infernal Master?
No, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm talking 40K.
Oh, then definitely not. No, I mean, no offense, 40K. I'm sure it's a great game. I can only play one game. I don't have enough time.
I get that.
Are you not playing Legion anymore?
I'm done with Legion. I'm all done.
Really?
Yeah. It's just I don't have enough time. Like between the kid and
And how is the kid?
he might be waking up soon. I might have to feed him. I might have to step away. He's doing great though. He's fun.
Awesome.
You have a kid yet, Andrew?
Oh god, no.
I know you got married recently, like within the last 2 years, right?
You would think that. I would think
I thought
that
you
too.
did. I thought I saw something about you like
You're like the third one to say that. No, so the picture is from her brother's wedding.
Oh god.
So everyone thinks that because we've been together
God damn
for
it.
so long. Everyone thinks it's us being married. Like, no, that's just a cute picture at his wedding. No, my wedding is. Don't fuck this up.
Is it set up? Is it set back because of COVID?
We got
No,
Jack
it's not.
rolling one on the
I think
stream
it's
now.
by choice, but it's the summer.
She's watching the stream. She's watching it. Jack, what's up?
Hey, Andrew. Is that Josh?
Yeah,
Oh, what's up, dude?
I'm making my expensive Marauders.
Hop in the chat.
Now I'm working on my extensively converted Marauders. I just got like a shipment of bits in today. And it's like, oh, I have enough shoulder pads to replace all of the Marauder shoulder pads with Nurgle bits. And I have enough shields to replace all the shields with Nurgle bits. So I guess I'm doing that.
So, did I order 2 more packages of these things? 2 weeks ago. They still haven't showed up because of all the shipping problems.
That sucks.
Because like, there's not enough employees to unload the ships.
Still?
Still, yeah.
So you're telling me they're hiring?
Well, they're hiring, yes, and the unemployment effective September 3rd was like phasing out, but like the ships are still like there are just tons of ships at the dock just waiting to be unloaded.
Yeah,
so,
no,
like,
I
all
say
the
this.
shipping stuff is delayed. Like even at Du Bois, like we had to scrounge up a lot of like game mats because like we couldn't guarantee game mats from Frontline Gaming because they're one of our sponsors, but like they have their game mats manufactured overseas and shipped, and so you can't get anything. It's crazy.
And did you buy new ones of the new size?
Yeah, I got a lot of them.
Nice.
But it's
We
just
have a local guy who has like I was like the neoprene mats, but I've been sold on the I don't know what they're called, but they're just like almost fiber.
The overlays.
Yeah, and so he puts like the lines that you're going to be used in game, and they're really great. It's a local guy we have, and yeah, they're actually really cool. They're great for a tournament.
we had at the event I went to, they used painter's tape. But is it kind of the same thing, like except or is it like something else?
So there's no painter's tape. It's just he prints this stuff out. I don't know. I can ask him what it's like made out of, but he does the original designs, and there are just lines. But you have to look to see the lines, so you can actually, not have your immersion broken if you if that kind of messes you up. But it shows the where the objectives would be, where the circle would be to be inside the objective without those like big plates that people sell that just kind of just don't match the table at all. And these are great mats, and they're perfect for tournaments. And yeah, it's a local guy. He has an Etsy shop that he ended up closing down when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I think put it back open.
You said it's back open?
No, he's gonna make it open again, but they're great for tournaments. So that's what we use up here.
I was actually debating like taking like a Sharpie to the mats and just like putting a ruler down and drawing all the lines like little crosshairs where they intersect, like 1-inch crosshairs. That way, like it makes tournaments go way faster. There's like a half hour at the beginning of every round where you're just like measuring and figuring out where everything is.
Yeah, these are great. I'll tell him we talked about it tonight. There's a local guy named Ricky. He's part of this group, Dimensional Cascades. They do streams and stuff. But yeah, they're perfect.
Yeah. That's huge. Yeah. I think I'm going to do that.
Can y'all still hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, my Wi-Fi just dropped out. Cool. But yeah, those mats that you're talking about, down in Georgia. Is it ATC or the one of the 40K people had very similar mats where everything was like pre-measured and dotted out. Super awesome.
All right, so Andrew has an echo. Does everybody have an echo?
I might have to mute my mic.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Josh is the source of the echo.
Okay. Just want to point that out.
So, Jack, what are you working on?
So I played a game with Brent, and we did War Clans versus Stormcast with the new books, and I have the Stormcast book. You know, like I've been making lists, I've been doing all that stuff. I think there will be an upper middle tier army. I think the War Clans book is better, like with Iron Jaws and Killer Boys.
Nice.
Big Wall.
I like to hear that.
But not everything needs to be the best. But I think they got improvement. Yeah, I feel like they're definitely pushing you to buy the new stuff. Which you like if you have a lot of Sacrosanct or a lot of the old stuff. So like the new stuff is better, but I think shooting's still good. Like long strikes, hurricanes, suicide blisters, they're still good. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. People are gonna crack the code, smarter people than me. But I kind of see what I'll play But yeah, I want to start painting Stormcast, but I'm painting Daughters of Cain right now for Path of Glory. That's what we're filming next.
Can you explain you posted a character on Twitter. Why is he or why are you shelving him?
It was the joke. So the joke was he's going to be gathering dust. It was Gabriel Sureheart. And so
sure charge.
He's going to be gathering dust, like instead of gathering. Because before he had a aura command ability that lets you add 3 to the charge, and you can do it multiple times.
It used to stack.
But adding 3 to the charge of a bunch of annihilators, and they reroll charge, I think you're getting in there 90% of the time. They changed it to, I think he can do an ability, like he can use a forward to victory or a reroll charge for free once, instead of an aura where everybody gets to reroll their R plus 3 to their charge. And so you just don't need them anymore.
And also, isn't the Eliminator's charge mortal wounds modified as well? Like you roll dice equal to the charge?
Yeah. But you still want to get him in combat. So and so it's just like you don't need him anymore. Just like the Knight Azeros, which I took in the battle report just because to show how we all knew that was getting nerfed. We all knew that rerolling ones, the hit bubble was not going to be there. But the fact that at the end of the charge phase you select a unit, and then you can reroll one to you can get +1 to hit against that unit, and there's just so many +1 to hit in the game. It's just I'll get another version that is less points, and I'm not taking up a slot in my army.
Yep.
But
find the rerolls.
Yeah, the Stormcast are going to be good. They're going to be a lot of people. Like I'm afraid of Stormcast when I play my Lumineth, just because anytime you can deploy half your army off the board, really good. And you come out side 9 and you get the double turn or whatever. So but I'm excited for the game. Like 3.0. Like I like 2.0. I like the first edition. I didn't play the pre-GHB stuff, so I never experienced that. But
it was chaos.
I've always liked Age of Sigmar, but I really do like 3.0. I've had a great time every game I played. It's just like with any game, like you're going to take some reps to get all the rules down, and AOS and wargaming in general has that learning curve that can be steep to like new people, but I think if you play the game enough, you'll be able to get in there, and I think people will like it.
There's only a few units that I'm really like, I don't think I like that. And I think the only one I've come across so far that I've really been on the fence about, like I'm not sure how much I think I'm not sure if it's good for the game, was that new Fox, the Lumineth Fox.
What's better than one fox?
3 foxes, 4 foxes.
4 foxes.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that Lumineth list, and I actually got to see it in action this weekend, and it lost to Giants, but only to a double turn. Like if the Giants didn't get a double turn, that game was just it was over. And the way it plays, it's just you just don't get to interact with it.
Yeah. So I had to. You go first.
I'm like totally out of the loop. What does that fox actually do other than move around like crazy?
So that's the biggest thing, is that it moves around at the end of every single shooting phase. It moves 12 inches. So you throw them all right up in front of your opponent, and your opponent moves up within 3 inches, and then you send them back 12 inches, and they just can't charge you, and you just shoot them with all your archers, and you just keep doing that. And it ensures that your opponent can't move more than 12 inches a turn.
Oh.
And that you just shoot their army off the table, and you just get all your picks, and you can't charge across the table and hit them because the foxes are in the way. And so every time they move up to your foxes, you move them back, they can't charge, and they just keep shooting the priority targets, knocking multiple targets out every turn until you have got nothing left, and you just don't even get to fight.
Yeah, man, I can see that being super frustrating for a mirror army. Because, like, I've always played super shooting heavy. Because I'm like, well, can I just shoot the foxes before it gets to go?
So, yeah, for a shooting army, I think it's going to be something that's not going to win events, but it's going to be... So I don't think it's an army that's just going to take events. I think it's an army that's just going to create a lot of negative gameplay experience. And that's why I don't like it. Not because it's overpowered and it's going to take events, but because it's just going to upset people is really what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I had to play against the 4-fox list last 2 weekends ago at RTT, and I only had a fighting chance because Nurgle scores so much. I don't interact with my opponent either, so I was scoring just as much as he was. And dice just went my way, and I was leading by like 2 points all game. And it ended, it was one of those burn objective missions. And it just got really dicey, and Miles pulled it out by 1 point because he was able to drop one of my monsters. Like, it would have been a tied game, but he dropped one monster and got that Predator and Prey thing to outscore me by 1. Yeah, so it's a tough list to play against, but you have to play the mission and play your army. But yeah, there's just some armies that can't deal with it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're effectively just like not doing anything for 2.5 hours. And it's I not to say that it's going to win events back to back and be the best list ever, but like I can see it creating a lot of negative gameplay experiences that are just uninteractable. You just watch your opponent play. It's like playing against blue in Magic. You just sit there and you get counterspelled over and over again. It's just like you're not doing anything. And I don't know. I don't think that's what Age of Sigmar is about, or I never felt like it was about that type of gameplay. But who knows? You know, maybe they gotta wait. They gotta feel it out. They gotta see if. I bet you the new destruction meta is going to break things up, because there's going to be a lot of shooting from those
boys.
The boys, the Bolt boys. They're going to be messing. That army is going to destroy that Fox army in like without even trying. Like, it's just going to obliterate it. It's going to shoot those foxes off the field, and as soon as you catch up to their ranged units in the back line, it's over. That's it.
Yeah, it's gonna feel so good. Yeah, we have I think 2 players with like that Cruel Boys list.
That Cruel Boys list.
Ready to go.
Do you have a headphone?
It's like the bolt throwers.
Let me mute myself. You're right. I'm just gonna mute myself unless I'm gonna talk.
Okay.
Yeah, the hobgoblin screen, fucking shaman, 1 monster. I forget basically it's like the same list, but you get like 1 monster difference between the 2. It's just a bunch of shooting elements, a bunch of ballistas, hobgoblins. Super cool list.
So with the previews coming this Saturday, I know we're not getting anything for AOS, but we are getting stuff for Warcry and Underworlds. What would be some Warcry bands you guys are looking for? Because I would really dig a Cities of Sigmar one with like maybe like a hammer for the Durden, like some sort of elf archer, like a free guild guide, maybe something mounted as the like City Sigmar one. But I think we're gonna get a Thunderstrike one for sure. Don't know what it consists of, but Stormcast get everything. So
what warbands have they not done yet? So I feel like they've hit every faction by now.
I think so too, except for cities. They have not done the cities one. But so the one they previewed so far has been Cruel Boys. So we're going to get a Cruel Boys one. So I think I'd like to see, I'd like to see City of Sigmar matching the Cruel Boys. But hopefully it shows the diversity.
Yeah, I know it's Cruel Boys and Stormcast because they had the Aether Wing.
Oh, they showed the Aether Wing. Okay, I didn't see that one yet. So I think it's going to be Stormcast.
And yeah, in today's article, it showed the Aether Wing model, and then there's a picture of the Aether Wing's eyeball was reflecting another grot or hobgoblin, whatever the hell it is, and a Stormcast with a sword.
Shit looks like a seagull. Huh.
Yeah, it's a burb.
Okay.
But yeah, if you go to the article, scroll down to the there's a piece of art with like the eyeball, and you look into the eyeball, you'll see the reflection.
Yeah, it looks like a cloak. Let me see. It looks like elvish to me.
Oh, elvish.
Yeah, a little elvish. Little cloaks, kind of like the
those shadow warrior dudes.
Yeah, some sort of rangerish cloak. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, I do like the direction 3.0 is going with these books, where like no hero has command abilities on their war scroll, which is interesting.
Really?
Yeah, none of the heroes have command abilities on their war scroll, which I think that is going to be like going forward. Of course, by the time they, just like they do with 8th edition 40k, by the time they finish the last book release, then we'll get a new edition coming out. But,
there's no command abilities on any war scrolls?
Nope. There are things like Mega Boss on Maw Crusher and like Gordrak can give the same command ability to up to 3 units, which is a new mechanic.
Yeah, as I say, was it just moved to the war scroll?
Yeah, but nothing's on the war scroll.
Yeah.
So you can you can do like Mighty Destroyers, but you can do that 3 times, which is that kind of they got it back. But yeah, so nothing has a command ability on the war scroll. And so there are. I didn't look too much into the War Clans book, so mainly focused on the Stormcast one. That's what we're gonna play.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the. There are all once per game command abilities that you get as an enhancement. And one thing
that makes sense.
I kind of didn't really dig is like, so you don't get a lot. You only get to choose like 3, and it's like. They're very tailored to one certain way to play. Like, you can have this command trait if you're like have a dragon, or you can have this command trait if you're I can't remember. But anyway, there's just 3 specific ones. You're like, okay. And the thing I did like as well, the core battalions in the battle traits in the book and the grand strategies are all garbage.
Yes, they are. I read that on Goonhammer.
Everybody's getting their own. You're just all going to use the ones from the core book. So it's like there's not going to be, hopefully, not going to be that haves and have-nots of War Scroll battalions from back in the day.
Yeah, the core book battalion effects. It's like a table of 6 or 8 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you unlock these effects by meeting criteria. But it's always the same effects and just different criteria. But I like how you said it's the way you said the command abilities push you in a direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's the direction that the Games Workshop wants you to do. It's just like 40k 9th edition, where it's like they give army specific rules if you're pure army, and it makes them play the way that the game developers designed it. Might not be good or whatever competitively, but that's at least they're very honest, subtly honest with how they want you to play their armies. Which I think Games Workshop does a great job about that. Like once you kind of think what they're thinking about, the armies make more sense, even if they don't compete.
Except Forge World, though.
Well, because those are different rules teams. They don't talk to each other. Just like the White Dwarf team, they don't talk to the rules team.
I'm just butthurt about my dragon. Just let me.
Oh no! I saw.
Just let me bitch. Yeah,
Okay,
it's worthless.
Hold on, let me go get him.
You have him too, Andrew?
No.
If you're
I
playing
I bought my first resin model the other day. Oh, earlier. I don't know if you see him.
That's a really dope paperweight, sir. Shoot that off.
Yeah, I guess. He's the exalted great unclean
I'll be
one.
right
He
back.
takes-
I'm gonna go look for
takes
some
2 rounds of
headphones.
shooting.
So, I know Vince was pointing this out, I think, where they were saying if you're playing in the GUR Battle Pack, which is the GHB, they don't have that rule where half your army can't be, one of your units can't be more than half.
Yeah.
And so if you're playing in the GUR, like a tournament, it's a GUR Battle Pack or just a home game, then you can use the Dragon, which I think Josh left. So he
I mean, he's still just saying it's bad.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's like 1,250 points now. Like
yeah,
that's
still for the Rogue Idol, but I don't think the Rogue Idol has the Orc keyword, and a lot of the stuff from that book it triggers on Orc instead of Bone Splitter or whatever.
yeah.
So I was excited, and I was like, okay, it's not as good.
Still worth getting excited about though. But yeah, I got my one Forge World model. Never even got to play him because of COVID.
Is that legit Forge World or is it recast?
No, I mean it weighs like a pound. It better be real. I don't know how would I tell if it's a recast Jack? I bought it already built and already painted.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
And if you don't know the difference, does it really matter if it's a recast?
Good question. Yeah, if you don't know, if a tree falls.
I bought him a fancy base from Elric Hobbies. I gotta paint that up sometime.
Delicately taking models apart is a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to take all of these shields off these Marauders so that I can throw Nurgle shields on them.
It's a labor of love.
It is. One thing is for sure, though, these Marauders are going to look fucking sweet when they're done.
Oh yeah.
What are you using as their base?
What's that?
What are you using as the base, like for the Marauders? Like, are you using the?
I'm using, like,
model?
I'm using the Marauder bodies, but their weapons are all swapped, their heads are all swapped, their shoulder pads are all swapped, and their shields are all swapped. And the body looks fine when you take into consideration that it's going to be painted up as normal, right?
Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah, I mean the models all look super derpy, but Nurgle things look derpy.
How many points of Nurgle? Like, who's the Nurgle king out of you two?
Probably Paul.
I have at least 8,000 points of Maggotkin and another 3,000 or 4,000 points of Slaves to Darkness.
Okay.
Yeah, I recently did.
Yeah, last time I saw you playing on stream, you were playing Skaven. Oh, you froze.
I think he cut out. There he is.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I just put
So
myself up.
you played Nova at Atlantic City, but when I saw you on the stream, you were playing Skaven. I think you played Skaven at Nova too, right?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to direct your attention to the ITC tracker. You tell me who's number one Nurgle.
Oh, okay. There you go.
But yeah, no.
Paul.
ask
I thought it was
who the
Paul.
better player was.
It's not me
No.
anymore.
We're both really good players. But no, hold up. I don't know. Where is it? No, that's the Richmond chat. I don't care about your DP.
Oh,
Anybody have any tournaments coming up?
always. Got a small one coming up in middle of October in New York. I don't know, Josh, are you going to that one?
Are you talking about Octagon?
No, I'm talking about the one in Amsterdam.
Is that the one at Professor Bonds?
Yeah.
If I go every chance I get. Like just having a newborn, it makes it tough. But like I went to a tournament on Saturday, and that was pretty fun. That was in New Jersey at Mythicos. That was really good. It was 16 players. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get any tournaments like at any game stores in the next couple months, but I'll try. Like if there's one at Professor Bonds, I'll try to go.
Yeah, no, there's a tournament like.
And we got the boys coming up in November.
Yeah, there's the boys, and then there's also one in Pennsylvania too on the same day as the boys.
Yeah, so 2 weekends ago, I was in Charlottesville for an RTT. Last weekend, I did a 40K RTT in Richmond. This weekend is a AOS RTT in Richmond. And 2 weeks from now, it's Fredericksburg. And then I'm taking kind of 3 weekends off. And then it's a back-to-back Richmond, Ashburn, Virginia, up with some of your boys, Left Coast Corsairs over in Ashburn. Garrett and James, I think, are putting that one on.
Oh, cool.
The Halloween weekend. And then it's November Du Bois if I get off that wait list.
Dude, I'm thinking people will start to drop off like just before. This always happens. Like everybody signs up, and then like right before the refunds are available, like you see a bunch of people drop. So I'm sure you'll get in, especially with like the changes to COVID. Like I'm surprised we didn't see more people drop. With the mask regulations, but
yeah,
we only had 2 people drop because of that.
Really?
Yeah. Bitches.
I'm doing this, so I've got tickets to with the South Coast Open. I mean, the SoCal Open for fun gaming, but I might drop from that.
Nice.
I'm supposed to go to Vegas for this Wasteland thing too. And I'm like, 2 traveling events, 1 month after another. I was supposed to go to Canada last weekend, but Attack X got canceled.
Yes, it did.
I'm excited with the, but I'm like, sometimes your eyes over your appetite's too much. Like I can't do all these. I do have to kind of have a life and have other things I have to do. I'll probably.
So speaking of Canada, like that's the group that we expect to see the most drops from, because the regulations for COVID are different in the US and Canada, and they can be more restrictive or less restrictive, depending on whatever month it is, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of our Canadian players are waiting to the last second to decide to drop because like they don't know what the regulations are going to be like in November. So
Mhm.
yeah, Canada's a little wonky.
The boys in
Yeah.
New York.
Syracuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like hour and a half from Canada. So we get a lot of Canadian players coming down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that whole is it all the Party of the All Points people were talking about coming? I know Bud was.
What's the question?
The Canadians are all the guys from that podcast showing up? I know Bud was talking about it.
You're talking about Canhammer?
No, Dayton, Bud, and the guy Jim King Tristan.
I know Huey comes, and I know the guys from Canhammer come, but that name does not sound familiar.
Well, maybe he's as famous to me. What is internet fame, anyways? Jack, how's it feel to be internet famous?
Good.
We're just loud, and we make friends when we go to events. That's all.
Yeah. No, I have a very important question for Jack. Oh, now you're back. Okay. Very important question for Jack. Since you are the most internet famous among the chat at the moment, has your internet fame ever gotten you laid? I love that you have to think about this.
No. But I have hooked up with chicks who play Warhammer. But they're like, it was. I don't think they watched it on one. That's when you know I've been drinking. I usually keep that side of my life private.
It's not for your internet fame; it's for your winning record.
Yeah,
That's why they let you.
There's, I'm trying not. It's PG on the channel, so I don't go too in depth of like who I really am.
Yeah. Jack on rerolling ones versus Jack in DMs is a completely different person.
I'm more like, I swear more, definitely.
Well, you definitely have to put on like a happy face when you're streaming and when you're trying to like you're I don't know, you're advertising your brand, and you don't want your brand to like exemplify some sort of negative aspect about yourself. It's tough to like balance.
Yeah, I'm like
What were we talking about earlier, Paul? That toxic positivity. Got to keep it.
I'm super fucked. I'm like, I bitch off camera when something bad happens, but always on camera I want to celebrate my opponent's successes and stuff like that. I'm like, oh man, the Wargog Prophet mask. I was I was not a happy camper when it killed my annihilators when we were filming. I was like, wait, are you sure we got to reroll the rules? Like, oh yeah, it can do all that. Like, it's really good right now. So I know.
That's awesome.
I did stand-up comedy and stuff like that, so I know what it is to perform in front of people. So I'll, like, when I go to like a con or an event and stuff, it can be tiring because I'm trying to be on all the time. And so sometimes I'll go to my room and fucking rest. I'm like, I don't have to be on. Because, people, if someone's excited to see you, like, I want to match that energy. I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't want to be like the first time I met Paul Conti.
I'm never going to put that down.
No. But yeah, it's cool. It's fun going to events. I missed that. I had so much, like, me and Doug still talk about Nova. Like, it's like maybe we talk about it too much just because it was so much fun going to Nova.
Dude, I'm excited for it to come back.
So, going to LVO was just like, it wasn't as fun as Nova, but it was still fun. Going to Atlantic City was fun. Just meeting people who are excited to see you, which is always great. And you get to play Warhammer. But it can be weird when, like, because I don't play fun lists when I go to tournaments. And so if somebody's super excited and, they don't, they're not competitive players per se, they're just going to a tournament and just tell them like, hey man, this is not going to be enjoyable, what I'm going to do to you, but we'll still grab a beer after this or whatever, we'll hang out. But, I play fun armies, heavy shooting. And I play those armies where I ask my opponent a question, like, can you handle overwhelming shooting? And if the answer is yes, you're probably going to beat me. But if not, I'm probably going to beat you. And so now with my Lumineth, it's like, can you handle overwhelming shooting and be able to not cast any spells? Like, you're not going to cast anything, and I'm going to get all my spells off. Like, if you can answer those two questions, then you're probably going to beat me.
Yeah. Oh, you're playing the snake list?
No, I play Lumineth, so I play 50 Sentinels, 2 units of Wardens, a Cathalar, and Teclis, and Split Portal. Like
have you tried the Fox out yet?
No. I have 2 Foxes, but like I said, I'm like, when I look at the Fox list, I'm just like, I think I can kill 2 before you get to go, and then you're down to whatever the Foxes are, and you're not going to get any spells off. So I'm like, I think I can beat the Fox list. But I have, like, that's in my head.
You can.
It's like a mirror match too. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Teclis is better into foxes than a lot of other armies.
Yeah. But then I think the Fox list can beat armies that I struggle with and stuff like that. So it's always this paper rock scissors game that you do with any competitive game. Where like, I can beat you, but you can beat him, but I can beat him, and he can beat me.
That's the meta game. That's what I love.
I definitely know what you're talking about. Like when I played that first game with you, I think a long time ago, I played you with my Skull Cannon list, and you were playing your Stormcast, and it was just like shoot city. Yeah, I think I did all right, but your shooting was just so strong, and my list was not equipped to deal with that. Mm-hmm. But like it's 3:00 in the morning. I love playing pickup games with people that like especially with another YouTuber, like that's the best.
And then that game was great because you played your ass off for like me being like a pretty good counter for your army. It was still like, oh shit, I gotta try. I can't be like, oh, I got this, and kill that. He's still sending Scarblood Wrath back into my stuff and charging in. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. And I went and I think I got Blood Wrath soon after that. I was like, oh, this guy's really good.
Yeah, he's one of those like sleeper units, and I think my whole shtick, like initially I really wanted to play like super competitive lists, and that was back when Khorne was just over the top good with the bloodletters. So I had 70 bloodletters, and I was just bloodletter bombing the shit out of people. It was amazing. And then they nerfed the hell out of Khorne, and it was like all of a sudden it became this army that wasn't like overtly powerful like other armies were, and you had to think very creatively, and I didn't want to spend any more money, so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna have to get just really creative and really good at like finding ways to make these units work. And that's effectively what's happened with me. Like initially I was super competitive, and then like I was like, well, I can't afford to just buy a new army every week.
That's why you stay within your Grand Alliance.
Now Grand Alliance armies are gone.
Yeah, no more Grand Alliance.
If you just collect a bunch of armies, you just conglomerate them.
Yeah, what you do is you just play Nurgle, and then everything's coalition or allies, and you're good.
Okay, as you know, we're all chaos players here. What do you guys? If it's a super rumor, I don't. But when you look at the things where Stormcast trigger on, I can't remember what they were pointing out, but the fact that Beasts of Chaos wasn't part of that list of things, would you guys be cool with Beasts of Chaos getting Cities of Sigmar into Slaves of Darkness and them kind of a super group?
Do you want my opinion, or do you want to know the rumor that I know?
Ooh, I want to know the rumor you know.
So you know how we got those Slangor models?
Yep.
There's a very good chance that they designed the other god-specific gores at the same time.
Ooh.
So don't know when they're coming out, or if they'll come out like in an Underworlds release or something like that. But they have the models available to them.
Okay, now what is your opinion?
On when that's coming out, or
No,
like
no,
how
so
it'll
do you want
become
my
like
opinion, or do you want the rumor?
yeah, like how I don't know if they're gonna get their own book anymore because of how they've been writing the rules. But that's an opinion, not anything I know. But how they're writing rules doesn't make sense. Like they could be thrown a book, but it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, they seem like they could almost just be wrapped up into a new Slaves to Darkness book.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they did that and would just rename the faction, because it doesn't bother me, but there are people out there who are like, oh my God, there's slaves in the name, and that's one of those. That's a word that could trigger people. Like just rename it into something of chaos, children of chaos, anything like that.
Something like that. Yeah, no, I don't know if they're getting their own book, but I think it is the Nurgle book coming out next.
Yeah. I mean, Nurgle is
more than Nurgle.
like I read the Nurgle book and then look at like newer books. I'm like, I can't believe this was written by the same company.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think with the new book they'll get new kits? Maybe just the Pestigore, probably.
I hope we get Pestigore, and I hope they're good.
Pestigore and I think a few characters.
I think the Pestigore.
I think they're redoing the Harbinger. I think they've redone the who's the guy with the poisons, making the guy drink something.
Festus?
Epidemius?
Epidemus needs a new model. And this is, if you want another wild speculation, because you got to remember, they are a company with 2 games. They, the Demon's Codex in 40K, from rumors, I'm just gonna say, it's rumored that it's not coming out anytime soon. That the Demon Codex is coming out at like the end of 9th edition, and one of the reasons is because a lot of demon models that are in the works right now that like have been designed but not released, like the Bellicor model, Epidemus perhaps, there's the new Slanesh model, with the 2 twins.
Uh-huh.
Like there's just a lot of models that haven't seen 40K yet, and they haven't wrapped that. That hasn't come full circle.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of where the speculation is. They've designed a lot of cool new models, and they're unsure how to release them. Because also the rules design on the 40K side is still unsure how they want to play them.
I'm going to interrupt real quick. We got a question in the chat. So there's 3 content creators here. Question, what has been your favorite YouTube video you've made in your channel's journey? I'll go first. I think about sketches more than bat rep for bat rep. We had some fun ones. It was fun doing the Siege one with Doug as his going away kind of one. But I remember some of our sketches our first year, like when we cared. We tried really hard and we had like green screens and stuff. There were some really cool ones. But I think that for as a battle report, the Siege game with Doug as his going away one was a lot of fun. What's up, Paul? What's your favorite video?
I'm gonna let you go.
One of my favorite ones that like didn't like it was not popular at all, but it was fun to make was the one where I analyzed all of the general's handbooks to see like what was in all of them and how it's evolved over time. It was really like I don't know, kind of eye-opening experience to design, and I figured out with all of the different what is that, open war tables, like just how many different scenarios you can create. It's like 43,000 something, I think, different scenarios that are possible.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really fun video to make. Like, nobody else seemed to care but me, but I liked it.
What about you, Josh?
So, my favorite video that we ever did was probably the one that I liked reviewing the Cord book with Konstantinos, because like I got so much from that video, and I think he got a lot from that video. And part of this game for me is always just becoming a better player and learning all these little tips and tricks that are not just like weird nuances, but will actually help you like win a game. And Konstantinos is just a really great player. So that was probably one of my favorite videos that I ever made. But before I stopped making a lot of content, I had this idea for, you mentioned skits. So I had this idea for a staged battle rep. And the intention was to just be two total, like, typical asshole players that are just, like, rules lawyering each other and being just total dicks to each other the entire time, but act just straight-faced the entire game. And at the end, like, talk about how great the game was, even though it was just totally awful. And we were scripting this whole thing out, and like, oh, you can't move that because of this. Oh, you can't do that. And like the whole bat rep was going to just take forever. And we just never got to do it. But it was going to be me and my friend Tyler. And then we were going to explain how great this next version of AOS was after we played this just toxic, awful game. and just completely overlook all of the horrible things we did to each other in over the course of the game. But that was my idea for a skit, and we had it all planned out, and it was just COVID hit, and it was just like nobody got together anymore. And I'm working with Brian on getting new content, but I definitely want to do that at some point.
Yeah, COVID was like tough. It was like a tranquilizer dart hit. Couldn't get together, and once you stop doing something, you have a routine. It's easy to keep the routine. But when the routine stops and you realize, oh, the world keeps spinning. Now, all this stuff keeps going. I still got to go to work. I still got to take care of my kids. I still got to do this stuff. And you're like, now I actually have more time to do other stuff. And so trying to get that same sort of drive back, it's just like, okay, well, let's try it. And something will come up, but it's still fun to do. Getting stuff, like getting the books for the new Stormcast book and the work project. We was like, oh, this is cool. I forgot how much it was fun. Kind of review this stuff. It sucks to be on the West Coast because like by the time we get stuff, like we got the books Friday and we're allowed to release stuff 5 a.m. on Saturday, and so you don't have a lot of time to film stuff. And so once we realize, hey man, we're not going to kill ourselves to get this stuff out on time. We'll get it out when we get it out.
Have you gotten any like release stuff ahead of schedule from GW for reviews or anything, or is like?
Oh yeah, like we got Dominion like almost a month ahead.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So once we hit 10,000, they started sending us stuff like on the regular.
So that's really the
2 Blood Bowls. And we're like, oh, we don't do this, but
10,000.
What's that?
You have 10,000 now?
We're at like 19.
Yeah,
dude, that's awesome.
It's not too bad, Andrew.
Going up, but we've super like we're trying to it's hard to recreate the magic, like I was saying, just because you're so busy, you're so just like trying to get back into that groove. But so
Andrew, if you keep making content and you make even reasonably quality content, like people just want to digest content. Yeah. And so if you just keep making content, as long as it's reasonable,
Not trash.
You'll rack up subs. It'll be exponential.
We hit like a sweet spot because like we were one of the first AOS bat rep channels, and so back when everybody hated AOS, we got into it there. So people started joining, liking it, and now the game's more popular. So there's like a lot of people out there putting out content. And so
Yeah, I need to get it on that.
3 things, but now there's a bunch. And like we still have people who are super like loyal to us. You know, people still hit me up, hey, when's something coming out? And you're just like, soon? Like we have 4 bat reps in the can we're trying to put out, but we did this thing with Skillshare, which they did pay us, but they have to watch the video, and they have to prove it and all that stuff. And so we're waiting for Skillshare to approve a couple, and then we'll have like 3 done, and we don't want to put them all out in the same week. So,
Skillshare is a good one.
Yeah, we need to get this the Stormcast versus Big Wall one out just because it's it's like pertinent. This is new stuff people want to see. But when we got to the point where like we're not going to stress ourselves out trying to get stuff out, which is helpful.
That mental health, man.
I definitely think that like one of the other things I struggled with when like you have timed content like that, like the new book you're talking about, is like if you look at Goonhammer, and I don't want to be critical of them, but you read their site and they're talking about abilities and things like that, and they're just throwing their opinions out there, like they're factual. Like they were in their review of the Slaves to Darkness book, they go, Zinch looks bad. It's got reroll save rolls of 1, and that's mediocre. And I'm like, that's what everybody runs. It's like the best thing ever, and it always was pretty good. And you struggle with like coming up with a quick response and giving people a good response. Like there's a balance there, and that was the hardest thing for me because I don't want to feed people garbage.
I like what you're talking about. That like we're very cautious of being. I don't want to be a voice of authority. That's why we goof off. We're not. I don't want to give you my opinion on competitive stuff. Because like one of the biggest like shockers to me when I went to an event is somebody rocking me up with an army that I played on rerolling 1s. Like, oh, I saw what you did, and I went and bought that. I'm like, oh, don't do that. Don't spend your money, based off what I did. And so being like, when I give my opinions on like against the show or here or whatever, it's different than rerolling 1s. Like where I just will be very, like one of the things I'll say is like, oh, this is trash. I'm like, it's the rules, don't it? Like you can play it. Like the term unplayable, I'd rather say it's suboptimal. Something like that. Well, I'll be very like cautious. I'm not gonna, because the hyperbole used when discussing this plastic miniatures game is just ridiculous. But that's with everything in life. We're like, oh, this is garbage. This is unplayable. This is terrible. I'm like, it is. It's like, come on. It has stats. It's whatever. But
and everyone wants an opinion.
I try not to like give that like, the ESPN first take thing where it is just like, am I trying to be outrageous to be outrageous, or do I just like this doesn't mean that much to me? But there was something that Tom Lyon said, and that stuck with me because I would like look at people who were so into it and still like he's like, I'm passionate about the things I'm passionate about. I'm like, oh, I can't fight that. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Okay, and it made me look at it differently. Sometimes people will say stuff. I'm like, there are bigger problems. Like, even when it comes to shipping and the entitlement of Warhammer players, I'm like, there are people still dying out there. There's still a global pandemic. But no, you need your book now. I get it. And I look at that and I'm like, I just roll my eyes at shit like that.
Yeah, you gotta remember this is a luxury hobby.
Yeah. It's like,
Very much so.
The prices, I'm like, this hobby has been expensive and it's still going to be expensive. And
I try explaining this to my coworkers.
You might want to get out of it.
I try to explain to my coworkers.
Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, so it's like, they're like, wait, how much does it cost? I'm like, a few $100s and then a few 100 hours, but then you're paying hotels and then you're paying event fees. And that's just like, I put all this investment in, like, said the 40k army I just bought from my friend before he moved. Like I got like a deal on it, but still wasn't fucking cheap. It was all really well painted, and it's like I'm gonna go to events. I don't love 40k, but I want to play with the toys I bought. So
Yeah.
it's hard to explain, but it's fun, and it's definitely something. Get your bills in order before you play. But then once you do it, you want to keep playing because you put so much investment into it. Because that's how I feel.
So just to touch on what you were saying about like things being suboptimal, like, a lot of people disrespect units that they hear about online being bad because of these like binary like thought processes regarding like how good a unit is. This unit's bad, this unit's good. And so what I've always loved to do is bring like bizarre units to, or bizarre like army comps to events just to show people like you can win with anything. Like yesterday I brought a Gore-Tide list to a 16-person event, and I went 2-1, and the only reason I lost the final round, I think I could have beat Giants, but I dropped because my ride got a migraine and I had to leave early.
Yeah,
So
that sucks. I mean, that's I used to get migraine.
It's whatever, and I was so like tired from like watching my kid till 3 a.m. and like only 3 hours of sleep, and then driving 2.5 hours to an event with my buddy and then playing. But at the same time, it's like I go to this event, people are all running like Archeon and Varangard lists and just all tournament lists, and here I am. I tabled the tournament Skaven list. The first opponent was Gratz. That wasn't too bad. I mean, I kind of just blew that guy out of the water, but I destroyed the Skaven tournament list. The one with the 9, what are they? 9 Storm Fiends, Thankful.
And what is the Skaven tournament
Chaff,
list?
Storm Vermin.
Yep.
The Lord that buffs the attacks with a command point.
Bell.
Yep. I murdered that list. I tabled it. And Korgus Kull killed Thankful in one shot with the axe on a 5+.
And let me ask, did you table them because they did not deploy properly?
They had one unit that was like the lip of the unit. So
Did they layer?
It's not necessary. I can't say that they didn't deploy improperly. Like they deployed the way I think they needed to deploy, but I don't think they realized that with I can run in charge with my Blood Warriors, and my blood and my Reavers, and nobody plays against Gore-Tide, so they don't know what it was like to experience Bloodletter bombs or anything like that. And so when I just like made a 24-inch move across the board and smashed my opponent in the face, he was 24 inches away from me. He did not see that coming. And I spent 5 command points in the first turn just making those Blood Warriors hit in 2s, reroll 1s, wound on 4s, reroll all, and have a combined 30 attacks. And when they all died, they're 6
They do it again?
moral wounds, and they do it
And then
again.
did you activate in their hero phase as well for some blood scythe?
And no, I did just we couldn't kill enough units round 1. But when I did that and I just wiped his Storm Vermin out in the first round of combat, he was just like, he didn't know what to do, and it shook him.
That's it.
And I threw my whole army forward because he's a shooting list. You just got to get under the shooting and be aggressive. And I threw my Demon Prince in there just like nothing because he's not charging me. And I tabled this guy, and he just had too many threats to deal with, and all his chaff units died so fast. And my run in charge with the Bloodstoker was just so powerful that with the smaller board, run in charge with +3 or +4 to both run in charge, if you're talking about Blood Reavers, is insane, especially with auto 6s with the command point.
Yeah, what you just said, too many threats to deal with. It's like for a shooting army, it's big. Like there's just too many. Like when you look at it, like I got 145 wounds in this corn list I'm playing. There's a lot of stuff coming at you. Like paying off meta, like what you're saying, playing units that that are not conventionally used. Like, oh, these are trash. Like, here's an example. I think Heywo was on Warhammer Weekly, and they were I think they might have been talking about Stormcast, and they said long strikes were trash. And in my head, I'm like, but I'm winning tournaments with them. This is going really good with me. And this is like, when the second book, 2.0, just came out. And I was like, I'm doing really good. I have a lot, and I'm winning. And so I was like, oh, like worry about your local meta first. Because like we didn't have any Daughters players. We had one Slash player and all this stuff. Like that's what the biggest thing is. Like, what do you play locally? That's what you need to focus on. Don't worry about what they're doing in Australia. Don't stress out like, hey, this unit sucks, but you never play that unit.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to get like ideas from Australia.
Yeah,
like they come up with some wonky ideas down there, But I mean, the thing that I've been championing more and more is to just like play the stuff you like and play the stuff that's interesting to you that you know how to use, and you're going to do better and you're going to have more fun rather than trying to play like a net list that you don't know what to do with. Like the last tournament I played in, what is that?
It was a Sisters of Slaughter.
Oh.
I try to switch it up so everybody's not right-handed with the whip, so I'll like clip stuff off.
So the last tournament I played in, I saw somebody come in with like the Tzeentch Archeon net list, right? Like all I saw was like Archeon, Kairos, and Flamers and Horrors. Like that was like all I saw coming in, right? And the guy went 1-2. And he got his Archeon spiked by what was it? By Flesh Eater Court's Terrorgeists. Like Andrew, you're muted.
It's like you're saying, if what I was saying earlier, if you know what to commit to a unit like Archeon, you know how to kill him. And if you know how to kill him in Tzeentch, you know how to kill him in Khorne, you know how to kill him in Nurgle, whatever. And the best players in this game they have a good idea of what it takes to kill something, and they will position and they will set themselves up to kill a target on a specific turn. They're ready, and they will not engage, or they will engage depending on whether or not they see success or an avenue of success.
Yep, that's exactly how I kept that game to 1 point difference. You just know your army, and you know the game, and then you just have to respond to your opponent's moves.
I do think there are rare instances of objectively rough units, though. Like right now, Slaughter Priest, I will not run one.
Really? You used to be running like 3 of those.
He's just he got nerfed so hard. He's in such an inefficient position that you're better off running more stuff other than him. That's what the problem is. It's like he's priced out by everything else, because he went from being able to basically cast 3 prayers a turn to only casting 1, and his points went up, and and the stuff he does, the prayers are so mild, I want to say, for the Slaughter Priest, other than Curse, that
I would still do +1 to get a blood tide point. Like blood tide points are so crucial, and like sometimes getting an extra one is big.
That's the best one right now, and I agree with you. But like, you get probably 3 to 4 blood tide points a game off of that if he doesn't die. And if you're going to run a priest, you definitely want the War Shrine over the Slaughter Priest. Like, if you need a priest and you want to play that game where you're like accruing blood tide points, I think you want the War Shrine. because the priest, while he does give it to you, it's like, well, where else could that 100 points have been spent, and could it have been spent better? And are you going to generate blood tithe points anyway by just like engaging your enemy or dying? That's I guess what you give up.
Are you running the boys, Josh? Is this your thing?
Am I what?
Are you running the boys? Like, is this your event?
I'm the head TO for AOS and for singles and now doubles, because the doubles the guy who was running doubles dropped because of COVID concerns. And it's like you were saying before, the world's still spinning. COVID's not going away. We got to live our lives. Let's just mitigate risk.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's what I'm doing. That's also why I'm playing so many games right now, like just trying to get games in, because I need to play. If you're going to TO, you need to play like a maniac. Because if you don't understand the rules, you don't understand all these little nuances, and every event, like every round, every 10 minutes, you've got some weird thing that comes up and you've got to be able to figure it out.
What do you guys think of TTS?
Have not used it.
I've played a handful of times. Oh, sorry. Go, Josh.
No, it's okay. Like it was great during COVID.
Yeah, I like that. I was talking to Rocco because he kind of did me a few like test games and stuff. But when I play, I'm just like, whatever. This isn't real. It's my least, like, the game is like not top priority. I like other stuff. I like the interaction with the person. I like hanging out. I like the night between days and GTs, hanging out with people, having fun. That's what I like about the hobby. The game is in there, but it's not like, and TTS is just the game. I'm like, oh, this is not what I like about Warhammer.
Yeah, and it's also not the game. It's different muscles.
Yeah, it is different.
So I was talking to somebody about this the other day, like what's the difference between playing online and offline? And like one of the biggest things that I like to do in real life, I can't do in TT Sim. So one of the examples I gave was when I'm playing against somebody, I like to make measurements that don't make any sense to my opponent to get them to think I'm going to do something that I'm not going to do. And I do that a lot. And people don't know it, and I do it so smoothly that like people, they see me do these weird things, and then they react in the way that they adjust their strategy. And to me, that's fun. So I can't do that in TT Sim, and it's almost infuriating. And it definitely comes from like playing Magic the Gathering and like kind of faking what you have in your hand or faking what your strategy is, so and baiting your opponent into bad plays so that you win. And you can't do that in TT Sim. That's I think the most frustrating part about it.
Yeah, and also it's TT Sim. It's like it's too accurate because you are able to pre-measure and check auras. You don't make mistakes that you would make in physical Warhammer, and then you don't learn from those fucking mistakes. And then here you are, misdeploying your Skaven, your 9 Storm Fiends are dead to some Blood Reavers because you couldn't pre-measure all those distances in TTS.
Yeah.
And now he'll never make that mistake again.
I mean, you can pre-measure in real life too, to some degree. You just don't want to do it to the point where it's like completely slowing down the game. You have to have tools.
Yeah. And just like that practice, being able to see from the tabletop, all right, this looks like that distance, and then just do a quick check if you feel like you need it. But, I don't know. I don't have a computer to run TTS, so that's kind of my issue.
Yeah.
Like I have a
computer to run it either.
Laptop.
Yeah,
but also like I just have no desire. Like I enjoy playing. It doesn't.
Definitely helps you like get better for the game, but it's like the lab. Like if I play a game that's not outside the tournament, I'm trying stuff. I'm being goofy. I'm like, all right, what if I do this? What if I take this? And like then it's like this is the lab. We're like practicing, so we're not like, oh, I beat so and so. Like, was it a tournament?
No.
Oh, then it doesn't count. That's when I
Yep.
beat Josh. That counts.
See, I was talking to somebody the other day about like how do you win, and like what can I do to be better? And one of the biggest things, and I see a lot of players do this. Maybe this will help someone, but one of the biggest things people do is they give away what they're trying to accomplish, and they help their opponent make all these moves and adjustments to like retain their auras and stay within their auras. But like your opponent's not doing that for you, right? So like just let your opponent play their game, okay? If they step outside their aura, that's their business. If they declare intent, it's one thing. They're like, hey, I'm trying to stay within this aura. Can we just agree? You help me measure. That's one thing. But, like, you let your opponent take their turn, and you don't, like, interfere unless they're doing something that's, like, against the rules. Whether it's to your advantage or theirs, doesn't matter. Never let anyone break the rules, because competition is cooperation. And you're not there. You're both there to enforce the rules. But let your opponent play the game, and let them make mistakes. Like, you're gonna make mistakes
I
too.
definitely nice guide my way into multiple losses. Like, if you do that, I'm gonna be able to do this.
I do it way too often.
You're gonna see the best players. Like, all right, there was a game. I remember when what's his name won with. It was, I think he won with Seraphim at Adepticon against Chai, who was playing Daughters of Cain. Do you guys remember that?
Yep.
I can't remember who won. He's very. It's not Bill Souza. It's not another one of his crew. But anyway, he beat Chai because Chai left a minor opening around an objective, very small opening, and he let Chai make that mistake. He didn't like go, hey, are you sure you want to leave that open? Like, you see players do things like that all the time. And the players that are winning these events aren't saying things like that.
Yep, it's a separation.
They're letting you play the game. Let your opponent play the game, and let them make mistakes. And you know what? You're going to make mistakes too. Like, but their plays are not your responsibility. You don't know what your opponent is trying to do. So just let them play, and then, all right, is your turn over? Okay, I'm going to take my turn, and you make your measurements and do what you need to do, and you play your turn. And
yeah, that's exactly what happened at NashCon.
I think that's the best. That was one of the biggest things I had to tell this kid, and I think that like a lot of players do that. And you don't have to be a jerk. You're just letting your opponent play. You're not a jerk by not saying anything.
Like, I've done that before. Like, because usually I will never go back. I will never go back in time and like, if I forgot something, I fucking forgot it. But if my opponent asks me, I'll let him go back usually. Except for when I was 4-0. No, 3-1. No, 3-0. And the winner went to the finals. And it was like 2 phases later. He's like, "Oh, I forgot to move these guys." So I'm like, "Nah, dog. That's what those models are."
Yep. Yeah, I definitely have thresholds myself. I like you're saying, like I'm in the same boat. If somebody goes, "Oh crap," I made this mistake. As long, like, say they move a model too far, as long as they're not moving their model further than, like, say they pushed their model to the limit. They moved it 8 inches and it can only move 8 inches. As long as they're moving it back, usually I'm like, it's fine if you want to move them back. But if you're pushing them forward, it's like you've already pre-measured and all these models are already here. There's no telling that it's accurate anymore, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to move your guys back and consolidate, I'm usually okay with it. But I definitely have my like boundaries on like what I'll allow people to kind of like take back. And I want to be somewhat lenient, like you said. You're an internet personality. You want to be somewhat kind, but at the same time, you don't want people taking advantage of that either. This is definitely a balance.
Yeah, I can definitely tell, Josh, from the way that you talk about this stuff, that you have been a competitive Magic player.
Yup.
But you can tell that he's fallen victim to. I joke around with this. We have this local player. She's really good at corn. She's actually really good at corn. She's won RTTs up here. And the first time I played her, like I mansplained my way into a loss. I was like, well, no, you should summon the cornhounds here and then charge over here. Then you got the objective. And I was just trying to be helpful because she was relatively new at the time, but I didn't want to lose. But I'm like, oh shit, I just told you how to beat me. I'm not going to do that again.
So here is what I recommend if you want to help your opponents. Okay, if you want to help your opponent become better without like completely compromising your gameplay strategy, is without saying anything throughout the course of the game, I will take photographs of the board when I think my opponent made a mistake. And
that's a great idea.
With my cell phone, yeah. And I actually did that in the event I played in 2 days ago. I took there was a corn player playing and I was observing the game and he ended up winning, but he had no business winning that game. He rolled very lucky at the end. Archeon needed to make a 3-inch charge. He repositioned and rolled a 6, so it became a 9-inch charge, and Archeon failed the charge, and he won the game by 1 point. Because he would have scored the point and gotten his grand strategy had he killed this blood secretor. But the reposition of a 6, no less, made a 9-inch charge, and he lived, and he won the game. So like I said, it was very lucky, 15% chance. He still played the game and won. But there were so many. He could have tabled this Archeon list if he had just played a little bit different. And so I took photographs at all these different points. And his opponent and him are like, "Why are you taking pictures?" I was like, "It's because I feel like it. It has none of your business." So after the game was over, I showed him all these things on my phone and said, "You could have did this here. You could have did this here. You could have did that." But I couldn't interfere with your game because your game is your business. But if you want to help your opponent become a better player, take pictures of the board and then show them like what your thought process was in like certain instances. And the other thing that'll do is like maybe you didn't think of something as well. Like they'll come back and they'll be like, well, I had this other idea and this is what I was trying to do. And then you can either go, oh, that makes sense, or you can come with a rebuttal and say, well, this isn't necessarily the best way because of X, Y, and Z. But at the very least, you don't compromise the game.
I love that idea. I'm gonna definitely push that forward because I find myself when I'm watching something, I want to be helpful. I just have to fight that urge in me. I want to help somebody. I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to be positive and helpful, but I can't interfere with somebody else's game. The fact that I could have just taken a picture, like, hey man, yeah, here you should have charged in with these dogs instead of this guy, because the dogs would have got the unleashed hell instead of your monster here, and then you'd have been fine.
Yeah.
Take photos.
So it was Jake from Adventure Time. The first step sucking at something is the first step to being sort of good at something.
Yeah.
We all sucked.
I mean, I'm gonna just come out and say I still suck. Like, I don't think I'm good at this game. Like, my ITC ranking is not a reflection of how many wins I actually put up. Like, that is reps in more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Part of it is reps. Like, reps let you accept things for the way they are. Like,
Yeah.
it's more like sometimes I'll see this a lot with the re-rolling one guys. They'll play something and they're like either like oh my god, this is way too powerful, but I've seen way nastier things. Just because I played like way more games than they have. Like, I'm the competitive guy, I travel around, I go everywhere. I played probably 100 more games than each of the guys. And so like the things they think that are like cheesy or bad or whatever, just like I think you coined the phrase, or I heard it from you first, Paul, Facebook players. Where like there are people who like they see like the Thunder Tusk or the Slaughter Priest or things like that, like, oh, this is cheesy, this is terrible, and then it's like no, like as soon as you like get better at the game, you understand like I'm gonna ask you what your threat range is, what's your movement, and then I'm gonna set up right behind there. That way I can't get hit by your thing, and then I can either kill you or do some wounds to you. So it's not 6 damage; it's down to D6, which is a big difference. Is that a skull grinder body swinging some axes? I was talking to Josh, but he was showing a model on his camera. But anyway, yeah. So it's just getting reps in, and, like understanding the game, and just accepting it for what it is, rather than like, oh, this shouldn't be this way. Like it is that way, and we'll have to get used to this unless they fix it, kind of like they did the ward save thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people complain about the whole like priority mechanic for a long time, and my response at this point is just like, if you don't like it, don't play the game. Like,
I love it.
It's baked in. Like everything in this game, it has that mechanic baked into it. The whole thing would have to be rebalanced if you got rid of that mechanic. It doesn't work right.
Yeah, I've had that circular conversation with my 40K players. I'm like, they always say like, I would play the game if it didn't have it. I was like, but then you're not playing the game. It's not it's not a bad rule in the game. It's the game design. And if you don't like the game design, it means you don't like the game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you love our fucking models, but that's part of the game.
And I'll even point that out, like, because I didn't know, I played Fantasy from 4th edition to the beginning of 6th is when I played. And so I didn't hear about Swiss and all this stuff later on. But, like, so when, like, the Honest Wargamer has his stuff, right? And then, like, you know, okay, that is not Age of Sigmar. That is their version of it. Like, when they're changing rules and stuff, like, that's not Age of Sigmar. That's their version of whatever this is. That is, you know, that's their edition of it. But, like, that's not what I play. I play Age of Sigmar. So when you're saying, like, okay, you need to do this, this, and this, like, that's your game. That's your, you know, that's not canon. It's what you play.
Yep.
All right, I have something that ties into what you guys are saying about getting better at the game. So you're talking about how people will see units. Oftentimes they'll almost have this like sense of overwhelming dread, and they'll effectively quit before the game has even begun. But like you said, those units exist, whether they're cheesing or not, doesn't matter. My advice, when you think you've lost, play it out. Play the game out. You need to, one of the biggest things in this game is understanding the damage output from individual units, understanding their capabilities, and literally witnessing them on the table and watching your opponent perform all their tricks. And every time you play a game of Age of Sigmar, every time you see all these tricks happen on the table, whether it be in round 1 or round 5, all of that is going to help you in your next game. And sometimes people give up too early. Sometimes you're giving your opponent the win, and they they would have lost anyway. So you know, don't give up for multiple reasons. You'll learn things, and sometimes you'll just win anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very interesting point where you're talking about play it out. Because like where you're talking about, you don't tell people stuff that they mess up on, or like they miss out and stuff. A thing that I do, if an opponent gives up, I will pick up models immediately. Because I play a lot of like unfun armies, and so I can have a great first turn, but I know how they can beat me still, and so it can be like devastating. Like, oh dang, you know. And so as soon as like, all right, you got me, I'm like, yeah, I start picking up my stuff. Because I know you still have a chance in this game. But if I pick up my stuff, because you conceded, like, all right, you win. All right, I got my stuff over to Tio. Hey, he gave up. You know, max. Depending on the point scoring, I'm like, all right, I got max score. He scooped his army. But as soon as you give up, I'm done. because you might want to come back 5 minutes later. You're like, oh, actually, can we keep playing? I'm like, no, I picked up my stuff. I don't know what it was. Let's go.
Right. Don't concede. If you concede, I mean, there's nothing toxic
Never.
about you deciding to accept your opponent's concession. If you concede to me, I'm going to allow you to concede.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it is my recommendation in this hobby session that you don't give up.
Ever. No, because especially with tournament scoring, how it works depending on the tournament, you want to fight for your points because. So this past weekend, I was at a 40K RTT, and me and the guy right above me were in the running for a $100 prize, and it came down to like who scored more battle points. So yeah, play for your points, and also you'll fucking
Especially
learn.
now with it all depends on how they're doing secondaries and all that stuff now. Like your battle tactics and your grand strategy could factor into your final placing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
You don't want to just give that stuff up. Yeah, I don't know. Like, and the thing to remember too is it's a game. Like, we're here to have fun. We're here to roll dice. Like, you can do something. Like, you can change your objective from winning the game to, well, I'm at least going to kill that thing.
Yep, make a story out of it. I do that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite games was at Du Bois in 2019, where they did the Blood Tithe prize. You remember that, Josh?
Yeah, I remember. I made that prize up.
Yeah. So the whole point was basically everybody's counting Blood Tithe the whole game, the whole tournament.
Oh, that's cool.
Everybody is like keeping a tally every game of how many units die. And that was like going towards a score for like a secondary prize. Whoever got
They did the same thing at Summer Slaughter.
Yeah. Whoever had the most units die in their games won a prize. So my last game in that tournament, we were just like, all right, I'm going to lose this game. We're playing the rest of this for Blood Tithe. We're going to make everything die. And like,
Yes.
it was so fun. Like, and it made goofy things happen. Just play for a different objective. And I think now with the battle tactics, like you can like go balls out on battle tactics and like try and do something crazy.
So that's another great piece of advice, Paul. Always try your best to have fun.
Yeah.
Even when the situation is shit.
I think I would also like if people are getting into tournament player, like okay, we're here to have fun, but occasionally you will find a cheater. And we recently had something that happened up here with a whole cheating sort of scandal.
All right, describe cheaters. Go ahead, Jack. What are some cheaters?
So there are people who intentionally sometimes you can never because there's it's so easy to get out of it. You can just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was this, and so it's hard to be like, was he trying to cheat me? So there's like I've had incidents with slow play where I remember just I know if we keep playing, I'm gonna win. But we had the TO come around like, oh, we got 30 minutes left, and this dude is hemming and hawing over every decision he makes. And just boom, boom, and I'm just like, if I get to go, I'm gonna win. And then time's up. Oh, I got you. And he was like, oh, I got you on points. I'm just like, and I actually, I'm usually calm, but sometimes I get very animated. I'm like, what do you mean, dude? You were fucking hemming and hawing on your movement for the last 30 minutes. Like, I'm going off. Because I was like, because in my head I was like, I'm going to win. And so there's those. I'll describe the situation we had recently. So we had our first GT back, and it was so cool because half of the people who came I'd never even seen before. So I'm like, oh, we're growing the scene. It's like a lot of people must have been like painting during COVID. I don't even know half these people. And so I played this guy. We both played the same army, and he was, because there's something like he was relatively new, but sometimes new players are so confident that they know the rules, they'll have you question yourself. You're like, no, that's not how that works. And you're like, I'm pretty sure. And so I'll either text the like hive mind, or I'll go, asking them like, hey, no, and I'll show them in the book. Oh no, see, it says right here. That's how that works. And then, oh, okay, gotcha. But anyway, he knew his sub-faction he was playing. And he was playing a certain sub-faction. I think he was playing CR for Lumineth. So you get extra Aether Quartz. And so I ended up beating him. And the next opponent he played, he was saying that he had like the Iliathan sub-faction, where you can use the same like command ability twice and reroll one to hit and stuff like that. That's cheating.
Yeah, that's changing your list mid-event. That's not kosher.
That's cheating. So in the next day, because in the guy who he ended up beating, because the guy, it came down to one thing that was crucial. He was like, well, I can charge my Gargan over here, but I can't survive 2 Unleash Hells from these Sentinels. He can survive 1, but he can't survive 2. So he didn't charge it over there to get the objective, and he would have won if he did. And then he came up to me and he told me afterwards. I'm like, oh, this dude cheated you. And so I went to the TO, say, hey man, this is what happened. This guy cheated him. Explain the situation. And so the TO and the guy who lost, pillar of our community. He has enough equity in our community that we believe him. We don't think he's not a liar. And so the TO ended up swapping it. This guy lost. This guy won. We're gonna swap that because this was what happened. Don't do that again. And then the dude the next day, after like he was like, I never said that. I never said I could unleash hell twice. So now he's calling the dude a liar. And so, like I said, he's built up enough equity in our community. He runs events. He's a good guy. He's a great guy.
Did he just not know the rules?
He knew what faction he was playing when he played me the round before. So, and he can always say, "Oh, I didn't know." But to me, I'm like, and he was getting enough wrong when I played him, or he was where I'm like, that's not how that works. And they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." So I don't know if he was that new because he was doing good, or he was testing me, or is he testing opponents? Is he cheating? Is he a cheater? But the fact that he said, I never said that about the thing. Well, this guy said you did, and you're saying you didn't the next day. Somebody's lying. I believe this guy just because I don't know you, but I know him. And it turns out that guy had a reputation from the Magic community. That's where he came from. And so it's like, AOS is getting to the point where I'm like, don't come back. Fine, you're not welcome. Like we're no longer begging people to come to tournaments. Like if you cheat, in my opinion, like if you cheat, man, go away. I don't care.
That's a tough. That's a tough. It's tough to tell whether that's cheating because
he didn't have that ability when he played me, but he had it when he played this guy.
Well, in one sense, it's like he's right. You can't survive 2 Unleash Hells, but you could never do 2 Unleash Hells. So, is it cheating to tell your opponent they can't survive 2 Unleash Hells? Not necessarily. At that point, I would think it would be up to your opponent to go, you can't unleash hell twice anyway because you can't use the same command ability twice in the same phase.
You can. In the sub-faction.
Oh, in the sub-faction, it allows you to unleash hell multiple times?
Yes, it can. You can use 2 units can be subject to the same command ability.
So it was because he swapped factions.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's absolute cheating. He should be kicked from the event. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they end up just making a loss of wins. And here's something that I'll ask you guys because I don't know how many people play 40K, but I heard this happens a lot in 40K, where if somebody loses, they'll drop. And that's the first time we had that happen. Otherwise, like another guy who he was 3-0 going into the fourth round, and if he won that, he then went to the finals. He lost that one, then dropped out. Like,
That's not uncommon. It really depends on why you're going to an event. So like if you come from I gotta say, I've been to a lot of competitive communities, and I've participated in a lot of competitive events, and this is the first community where like dropping is frowned upon, and that is really weird to me. But it's all dependent on why you're there. If you're there explicitly to win, losing one match is enough to drop you.
Yeah.
Okay, because I just didn't know how to feel about it. I'm like, it's the first time it's happened up here. Like, he lost and dropped. It messed it up. Somebody had to. Luckily, the guy who got caught cheating, he played another round. Then he dropped too. So we had an even number. But it would suck to be like, oh, I'm here to play 5 games, and now I have to get a bye because one guy dropped.
We have ringers at Devoice for that very reason, because anytime you have big events, like there are a lot of people that do that. Like they're traveling just to bring up their MMR or whatever. So they're there to win. If they don't win, they drop because they know they're not going to place. And then it's like we have to have ringers on hand if there's an odd number of players, because of the way Age of Sigmar works. If you give someone a bye, like how many points do you give somebody a bye? Is it a full win? Do you give them everything? That's not really fair.
That's a lot of there's a lot of that could be said on that topic. But yeah, to answer your first question is how often does it happen? It happens a lot. I'm on a TO team for the East Coast, and yeah, it happens a lot. And just like Josh said, you just have to. It happens so often that you just need to plan for it as an event organizer or as a TO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely. That's a very, very common thing in Magic. Like, if somebody, like, especially if you're in a big event, you drop a game, you just quit and leave. At big Magic tournaments too, like there'll be like side events. So like you drop out of the big event and then you go play like an 8-man elimination, like win a box event and like do stuff like that, or like go draft or something. Like you leave the main event and go to a side event. But in Age of Sigmar, there is no side event.
Yeah, because the games take 3 fucking hours, and I'm of the opinion that one should fucking drop because it's a burden on the event organizer and the TO. It's also just like for our game system, it's really difficult to just drop, but in other game systems, it's a lot easier. So that's why it's a common thing. But yeah, it shouldn't be a thing in 40K or Sigmar because it's a lot more invested into it.
Yeah. I mean, in Magic, it's going to be the guy in last place that's going to get the bye. So it's like,
okay,
like that guy should drop anyway.
So there are ways the TO can mitigate a lot of that. So you can have best in faction as a right. First off, what you want to do is, everyone can only win one major prize. If you win a prize, you can only win one. So if the best in faction guy is Chaos, it's the next guy that gets best in faction.
Oh, that's cool.
So that helps keep people participating. The blood tithe thing, for example, like that helps. Like having arbitrary alternative goals for the players that are in the lower brackets to like fight and play for is kind of important if you want people to be like to keep playing and just having a good time. So at Du Bois, we have, I think, like there's like 10 different prizes. That's including sports and best painted for the event. But there's a lot to compete for in Du Bois, and people keep playing because they don't know if they'll win.
Yep.
So and then we have ringers. So like that's how we mitigate some of that, like you were saying. But we just expect it, and then we try to implement measures to mitigate.
Yeah, I think I just completely lost my thought. Never mind.
Yeah, so I can say I just want to give praise to one of our local guys is up in Battlegrounds, Richmond, Virginia. Something that he's implementing this season is, so typically for Warhammer it's a tier system. So first place gets like $100 store credit, second place gets 80, third gets 50 or whatever, and then all the way down. All 8 of the prizes are of the same value. And he does the same thing for 40K and for Age of Sigmar. So it's first, second, third, best in faction, or super, whatever they call it in 40K, for like best chaos, best Imperium. And then he has a judge's choice for his eighth choice prize. And all the prizes are the same value. So like last weekend at the RTC, I was in contention for an $80 prize, even though I placed 9th in the tournament. So yeah, don't drop if you play in Richmond, because you can go win like $100 prize just for showing up.
Okay.
And then like I know at NashCon they were doing like random draw prizes as well. Like they're going to the tables and just like doing random stuff. Like there's a lot of cool things you can do depending on your event size and prize support.
Well, Nova did the lemonade stand.
They also do brackets. Like within your bracket, you'll get a prize if you're the best of your 8.
So like the best X3, the best X2.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
On the 40K side. They did not do it for Sigmar.
I like that actually. The best overall X4,
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, like
whatever.
every 8th player was like the best of their bracket or something. I don't know exactly how they did it, but I know they did that. Okay, I know they didn't award it, but they did the bracket system at the GW Opens because it's the same organizer.
Oh, I remembered what I was going to say now. I cannot tell you how surprised when I started playing Warhammer that I was that there's a sportsmanship award.
Yeah. That was also a big surprise to me too. I did not know that was a thing.
Like that speaks so much to what the community in this game is all about. Like you're giving a prize, like a cash prize or a product prize to somebody for being a really nice guy. The
nicest of guys.
Award, Josh is never going to win.
I always am top middle of I don't know. I'm never there, but I'm always 10 below, and I'm like, God damn it! How fucking nice do I need to be? I think I just need to lose.
The first time I went to Du Bois, I got the sportsmanship award.
Oh, there we go.
Maybe you should give me some tips.
You give your opponents whiskey.
Every time I win sportsmanship award, I base it off of that I have a YouTube channel. Because well, if I know you, I'm a sore winner. Oh, I talk a lot of shit. I dance around. I rub it in your face. But I can be a quiet loser where I'm thinking of what can I have done or what can I do? Can I still win? And so I'm not as jovial when I'm losing.
Hey, Josh, are you doing grudges for round 1 at the Du Bois?
Where you can call people out? No, we're doing strength of schedule strict. So
Good.
We do not want people who we're just doing a strict strength of schedule.
And are you using BCP for round 1 random?
Yeah, and BCP
You know
uses SOS.
The teams thing.
There is a teams thing, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll be doing that as well then if you're doing random BCP.
Yep.
And for chat or the universe who doesn't know what I'm talking about, the BCP round 1 random pairings, if you come in with the same team, you're guaranteed not to pair into your teammates for round
I
one.
think it's a really nice function.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's great when you travel 3 hours and play the guy. Round one, at least. You'll play him round three. But yeah.
yeah, like not being paired with your buddies by random chance is like that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. Go to a tournament like and you play people you've already played like every round like we've played before. I would love to play somebody new.
I hate it when they pair me against. I have a friend I play against. Like, I watch him play and I play against him all the time. His name is Ross. And whenever I go to an event and I get paired against Ross in round one, I'm just pissed off.
That's why you gotta be on the same team. Because I was gonna say, if it's like in the later round, that means you're being paired to someone a similar skill level, supposedly, which means you're on his same level. But if it's round one, it's just random.
Yeah, it's typically round one. I'm gonna go to bed though. I got a sleeping baby. Here you go.
Oh, look at
That's-
him.
Bringing the sweetness to the channel.
You're welcome. But I fed him while we were talking, and he passed out. So I'm just gonna get some sleep while I can.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sign off too. My phone is almost dying.
We tapping out?
I'm tapping out. I don't know. I'm gonna be painting like crazy tomorrow. I've got to paint so many models and at such a high quality to finish this army. It's gonna take me months. Could be a full year before I finish. So just hoping the rules don't change too much. But we'll see.
Yeah. So Josh, are you going to be out tomorrow?
Am I what?
Are you like around painting tomorrow? Like not working?
Well, not all day, just like after work.
Ah, got it. I was gonna say if you're like randomly available during the day, we could do another stream.
I'll let you know when I start painting. I still have to zenithal all these guys, and I have to prime them, and it can't be humid. Fun tip: if it gets a little too humid and you get a little bit of that like moisture style priming, you know how it gets a little lumpy a little bit.
Yeah.
I take a toothbrush against my model, just a soft bristle toothbrush, and you just keep scrubbing it, and it seems to work. It's smoothed out. I had an issue with some of my Sarah models that I recently painted, and they look really good. And I was super worried. I was like, God damn it, I'm going to have to buy a whole new kit. But toothbrush.
Nice. Hot tip. Oh, we lost Jack already.
So, all right. I'll tell you if I'm going to start
I need
fall.
to go to bed because I gotta get up and get kids to school in the morning. So
All right, everyone's calling it.
yeah, we're all tapping out. We're all East Coast.
Good night.
Great. It's been fun.
Goodbye, chat.
End broadcast.